What is Undertale?
Undertale is my Nier Automata.
Fuck off.
Okay, you know what I was thinking? It totally is. It completely
Shut
is.
up,
It
that is not the same.
Okay, here's the
That
thing,
is
Niamh.
not
Here's the thing. If Nier Automata starred a fat guy and a wife beater, you wouldn't give a shit about that game.
Oh my god, it's not about.
Because you wouldn't have your weird sexy maid robot. Bryan, back me up on this.
No, yeah,
you'd just be like, no.
You're playing this game, but it's got something pretty to look at.
Yep.
It's absolutely not about the vessel at all.
So shallow.
Yeah.
God.
Really, Niamh, like
You make me so sad.
at some point you have to look beyond the surface and see what's really there. And sometimes it's a funny skeleton who says things.
They both have really good music. Mm-hmm. They're very similar games if you think about it. And they're both kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, but the soundtrack is great.
When I made a joke last night about how being a YouTuber is like the continuous cycle of murder that happens in Nier Automata. I've been thinking about that a lot since.
How Nier Automata is like being a YouTuber.
Yeah, because it's just fucking misery, and then like you do a video and a bunch of shit happens, and then you just start again the next day.
John, do you know what'd be so cool? It might not come out this year, but maybe next year. There'll be like a game that comes out in Steam that costs like under $10 that you'll find, and then you'll try and get us to play like you do. But it'll be an existential horror game about a YouTuber.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
These games are going to suck so bad. Who cares about YouTubers?
No arguments. Like,
okay.
YouTubers, lowest fucking creatures on this planet. Like parasites suckling at the very bottom of humanity. No arguments. But you could make such a scary game. Being a YouTuber is terrifying.
Yeah, but just like a shitty JRPG maker looking game, like that doesn't even look as good as Witch's House, because Witch's House looks great, but the other way it's a bit, scale back.
Yeah.
Just something real simple looking like Corpse Party. But it's just a guy in his room making YouTube videos, and sometimes there's a ghost on screen, and he goes, "Oh no, she's back."
What type of YouTuber is he?
Like John.
Just the lowest kind, like fucking like anime reviewer. Something pathetic.
Just some like kind of buff.
Something you have to
guy.
lie about in public. What did you say, Bryan?
But buff anime guy, just some hunk who's trying to figure it out, and all he's got between his ears is Goku.
Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss cast, episode 71.
Mm-hmm.
I am sitting here with two of the most prehistoric beings to ever exist. To my left, I have King of the Primates, Master of the Apes. It's Bryan.
Yo, it's good. I want my bananas back.
To my right, I have the Sharp Tooth, the Apex Predator. It's Niamh.
Hello.
And with you always, I'm your host, John.
Super eye-patchable.
I mean, maybe. Who knows at this point?
It's me, Josh.
It's me, John. Great video, John. Me and Bryan have this running joke for years where, from a grad film, I posted it online. Me and Bryan both put our grad films on Vimeo.
Yeah.
And they both ended up getting onto the front page of Vimeo through some trickery, we'll say.
Yeah, through some bribery.
And like we'd never experienced like any kind of internet publicity like that, really.
Yeah, like comments from strangers.
Yeah, and the first comments that was my video was just under my video was, "Hey, great video, Josh."
Way to take it down a notch.
Yeah.
So sometimes I call John Josh.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of like, no, like I kind of half remember your name.
Yeah.
But it just keeps you in check.
It does. So let me tell you, I was watching a little show called Gregory's Horror Show. So,
but this is a video game.
If that sounds familiar at all, it's because Gregory's Horror Show is a PlayStation 2, I guess you would say survival horror, but it's not really. Have you ever played it, Niamh, or seen it?
No, is it Japanese?
Very.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like...
And it's done like in a cardboard box style.
All the characters look like papercraft.
Yeah.
And it's a really fucking cool game with an amazing aesthetic that isn't that great a game, but it's basically you're in this giant hotel, and it's a weird haunted hotel run by this really creepy rat, and you have to The hotel is infested with other guests who are all like super weird, dangerous creatures. There's like a giant pink lizard who's a nurse. There's this guy called Judgment Boy who like has scales and asks you weird questions.
Is the rat human sized or rat sized?
Human size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very important.
Very important. The lizard nurse is slightly bigger. There's a chef who gets very angry, and basically you follow all the guests around and you have to like figure out their weaknesses and their secrets, and that's how you kind of defeat them and advance the game. And it's, you know, it's not the best playing game. It's janky and it's weird, but it is so interesting. But I was looking into a bunch of like horror anime and stuff because for reasons that'll be obvious by the time this podcast goes up. But it turns out Gregory's horror show was actually based on an anime. You'd say an anime, but it's like a 3D thing. And you know the way when people say, "Oh, it looks like a PlayStation 2 cutscene." This actually looks like a PlayStation 2 cutscene. This could be a PlayStation 1 cutscene. It is really rudimentary, but you know what? It's fucking cool. I have no idea how this came to be. Bryan, imagine if we found out that Kitaru Man had an anime and it was 4 seasons long.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah, totally. And that's what this is like. And it is 100%...
Is it 4 seasons long?
4 seasons.
Okay.
25 episodes a season, 2 minutes per episode.
Who is funding this?
That's the thing.
The Prime Minister of Japan.
The Prime Minister. the Shogun himself.
I love Gregory Horror Show.
And it is exactly as weird as the PlayStation game. Like, it has the same voice acting, it has the same tone. It has an English dub. You can watch all of it on YouTube.
There's some anime out there that doesn't have an English dub.
Oh, there's so many. And I just...
Part 4 doesn't have a dub.
No, but Gregory's Horror Show sure, and a pretty good one. And I'm just kind of enthralled by this thing because it is actually entertaining. Like, it's mildly creepy in a sort of unsettling way, but it's also just, it's completely its own thing. Like, I've never seen anything like this, and I've been having a really good time with it.
In the game, if you're following characters around, what's the main character in the series?
You are a little boy or a little girl who gets trapped in Gregory's hotel. Yeah, and there's also a manga, but the manga's really fucked up. Like, in the manga, you're like, I think there's like there's different parts with different main characters, just like JoJo. And like all the characters have like really awful backstories, and they kind of all just end up becoming guests of the hotel. Like, the hotel is like it's like a vessel of lost souls kind of thing. And I really think people should check this out. If you got an afternoon to kill and you just want to experience a weird piece of animation that is unlike anything else, this has a really weird, unique atmosphere, really strange, fun, offbeat tone to it, and it looks cool. Like, it looks like a shitty PS2 cutscene. Those can look great sometimes. I'm gonna loot drop it later, but I like it a lot.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Niamh, you want to tell us about your friend Thelma?
Thelma, yeah. She's a sensitive girl.
She sure is.
So Thelma is a Norwegian movie that I just ordered on Blu-ray on a whim because I found out it was like a lesbian film. So I took a chance on it. I thought it was going to be Carrie-esque from the trailer. Like, it's about this repressed Catholic lesbian going to college, realizing she's gay, not being able to act on it, and then her powers start manifesting. I thought it was going to get like super Carrie violent. Not violent, but kind of just more horror-esque. But it kind of is more of a coming-of-age X-Men film. It's just really weirdly interesting. Because there isn't a lot of good lesbian films with nice relationships in it. So to have this one come out in Norway with a budget that looks kind of cool, it's really interesting.
Niamh, could you be honest with me for a second?
Yes.
Do lesbians have superpowers?
Yes.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah, one time I saw Nia's girlfriend fly, just for a second.
Yeah.
Like, she was just floating a bit, and I was like... And she kind of looked at me like, what?
I walked into a room once and Niamh was levitating a chair and there was like purple rays and stuff, and she just goes, oh shit, and she like tried not to look at me and the chair fell on the ground, and I was like, hey Niamh, and she didn't say anything.
Okay, so Thelma and the power. I want to talk about the power thing and like repression and stuff, because there's this thing with Thelma. She's like an Omega level mutant. She is Charles
Professor
Jean
X.
Grey, level mutant.
Those are like the mutants with like massive natural disaster level powers, right?
They can like they're telepaths, and they can like control and they telekinesis, and they can do cosmic fire while Jean can and stuff.
They can come back from the dead.
Yeah, like she's just like she's OP powerful, and she is from the start. So you're watching someone who blinks people in and out of existence, and it's done really well in the film and it looks cool. But then there's one stage where her father says to her that her power is to get what she wants, and then you have this lesbian romance in it as well, and there's this idea, if she's like a telepathic and stuff, is it really like the girlfriend's like Anja's like her exercising free will, and that kind of comes into it, and that's kind of like spooky.
Because that could be kind of fucked up if they didn't work it into the story, but that sounds really cool.
It gets it's just a really interesting X-Men film. If you like X-Men and lesbian films, there you go. There's one that exists now.
It's really cool that someone made a film specifically for you, Niamh.
Yeah.
Is this a long film? It just sounds like it could be like over 2 hours, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, but there isn't really.
No.
Like, she goes to college. She's the only Christian in the school. They're all Norwegian, so they're all like atheists, and they're like, oh, like, how do you believe in God? And she's just like, how do you know your mobile phone works? And they have this. The guy doesn't know because he's an idiot. But like, it's just like she doesn't seem very repressed by the people around her, but she's repressed by her father at home. But it's because she's mutant powers as well that he's repressing her with religion. So it's just like, it becomes like this interesting thing of repressing someone, but her also being actively dangerous.
Well, like I've seen kind of various essays kind of arguing like it back and forth, but like for a lot of people, it wasn't like, you know, the idea of the X-Men, that was a big like outsider thing. That was a thing that, you know, people.
Yeah, it was about
in
being
different
black.
minorities.
Yeah, being black in the 60s and gay in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And like I've seen people, I've seen like people, like I think Gita Jackson had an article ages ago where it's like, no, it wasn't that, because the X-Men's, what made them different made them powerful, but that's not what being a minority is like. Which is like, I think that's totally a discussion to be had there as well. But I think it is interesting, and I've always liked that about the X-Men. I've always thought that was a cool thing.
Well, they're born with their powers. They didn't get them from something.
When you watch X-Men, you're really hoping for them to deal with plainly maybe the idea like of gayness, and you're like, can there be like an LGBT character in something that's meant to be an allegory for all of these things? And there never is.
Really? There's no like out and out gay character in X-Men?
Bobby Iceman is gay now, but like that's a new kind of relatively new thing.
Yeah, because I remember
time there wasn't.
It's weird because I remember them like tiptoeing around that in the original trilogy. Do you remember that? There's a part where his mom says to him like, have you ever just tried not being a mutant or something like that?
Yeah.
I just always assumed that was part of his character. That's fucking crazy that they're only like now doing that.
It's like it was never outrightly stated. So to have something like Thelma where it's actively dealing with this kind of idea of a mutant and powers and like the repression causing them or being the root cause or whatever, it's cool to have. It's like it's X-Men fan fiction.
But her
Norwegian film.
But so I guess it's her like realizing that she's gay and using that as an anchor calms her and controls her, or
No, it's like it's kind of her powers manifest themselves in different ways, and this is the thing, you never really know exactly what her powers are. When
That's
she's
cool.
a young girl, like she has a little brother who's just crying and crying and crying, and then she looks at him and she blinks him out of existence, and the parents are like, where is he gone, where is he? And like they're looking at her because she was the one left with him, and she looks really, really intensely under the couch and blinks the baby back into existence under this really heavy mahogany couch.
Jesus.
And the parents have to lift it off, and they're looking at her like, how did you get this baby under this thing we can't lift? And the baby's okay, but like it was this thing where this child is really, really powerful, So they kind of took it as this kind of biblical thing, and they tried to use Catholicism. I don't think the mom really believes in it, but the father really used that as an anchor to try and repress this power she has.
That sounds cool.
It's
really
interesting.
Cool. Bryan,
Yeah.
tell us about the Florida Project.
Have either of you seen this film?
No.
You both need to see the Florida Project. It's fantastic. This is Sean Baker's second film. He made a film 2 or 3 years ago called Tangerine, which I really, really like as well. Both those films, I guess, are kind of kitchen sink films, which would be a term used by Ken Loach in the UK, where you film on location and you keep the budget pretty low, but you use a lot of like local kind of character actors, and you don't really build sets, and you kind of improvise on the day with what you have around you, and you kind of hope for the best, and usually the results are really kind of like experimental but super interesting. The Florida Project, it has like a loose narrative, but a lot of it is just kind of like 10-minute like short stories, but they all kind of like tell one big long story. But it's about a little girl and her friends, and it's all from their perspective, all from a low angle. And the main girl and her mom, who is in her early 20s and covered in tattoos and doesn't really have her life together, live in a one-bed motel room, and that's their home. And I think they're in a situation where they can live there for like couple nights, and then they have to leave for a night because it's not a live-in situation at the motel. But then there's other people living in the motel as well, so it's like this weird community. So it's like a more like focused apartment complex, but all live-ins in the motel. And the motel is on the outskirts of the main road out to Disneyland in Orlando, Florida. And it's called the Florida Project because that was the code name for Disney World when they were building it.
So has it stuff to do with Disney World? Do they go to Disney World?
Yeah, like kinda. It's there in the background, and I think it's supposed to be a commentary on the American dream, and like it's this magical place, and like the kids know about it, but instead they're like hanging out in abandoned buildings near swamps, and there's this fear that there might be alligators, and
so it's kind of seeing like the Disneyland castle in the distance while living this kind of different life.
Yeah, and they have to beg for food most days, and they're on their summer break as well, so they're not at school, so it's just this 3 or 4 month break where they're just kind of like looking for stuff to do, and they're not supervised at all. So it's just,
that sounds really cool.
So it's just 3 kids playing with a lighter.
That's like the perfect Bryan film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think you've met that film.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember. I could relate to a lot of these bits and pieces from my childhood as well. But because it's always from the child's perspective, it'll hint at darker stuff, but you don't really get to get the full picture of it. But that's what I like as well, that there's this sense of mystery, and there's a few scenes in a row where the girl is having a bath, and there's loud music blaring off camera, and it happens for a couple scenes in a row, and you're kind of like, all right, so why is the director doing this? But then you find out why the director is doing it, and you're like, that's such a clever technique to reveal this story beat. Willem Dafoe, I think he was Oscar nominated. I don't know if I don't think he won, did he? But he was Oscar nominated. But he plays the the motel manager. He's amazing in this. He's just this tired old man who's fucking fed up with these damn kids.
Yeah, the Oscars for perverts anyway. Did you see what won Best Picture? Disgusting.
John.
It's true.
One.
Shape of Water.
The fish fucking movie.
I was just like, God, what could offend you so? And
John's just a fish phobe.
Hey, I'm a pretty open-minded guy, but I draw this line somewhere, and it's a fucking fish.
There's a great bit in the film where Willem Dafoe, and like this is definitely improvised, where he's trying to clear the car park, but there's a bunch of herons, like just giant fucking herons, are just standing in the car park, and he's like, "Come on, guys, get off the road, keep going," and like it's just shot like so well.
Do you ever see the heron that lives in our apartment block?
No, is
this one down by the river, and he's fucking huge. And sometimes I go for my 11 o'clock walk, and I get so scared.
They're so tall.
Yeah.
But the film, holy shit, it's shot so well, and it has like the nicest color correction, color grading. So it just has these beautiful, loud pastel, like lavenders and pinks everywhere, and they really push that richness. So it has this like really nice contrast.
Okay, sold.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And it's shot on film, because the whole thing is Sean Baker, like he's real fucking like I didn't know, like. His previous film Tangerine was shot on an iPhone 6. Like he shot a feature film on an iPhone 6, but he shot it in sunny LA. So I think if you have like beautiful natural lighting, doesn't matter if you have like a shitty camera, the footage is going to come out great, because that's why they film movies in Hollywood 100 years ago, because you didn't need to light the sets because there was sunlight for the whole day. So you know all those like old timey Charlie Chaplin movies.
Yeah.
There's no ceilings in those sets. Like that's all just shot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I highly recommend both this film. Like I love Tangerine. His first film, Tangerine, is about 2 transgender prostitutes, and it's a day in the life.
Oh, I think I've seen this.
Yeah, it's really good. And Ziggy from The Wire is in it as a pimp.
Oh,
he's really crap.
Ziggy, was he the dock worker?
Yeah, with the
who
giant
went to
penis.
Jail?
Yeah.
Jesus. That last shot of Ziggy's fucking rough.
Yeah.
What a season.
I can't wait to see what Sean Baker makes next. Like, it'd be cool if he just makes a film like this every 2 years and just maybe has 1 or 2 known actors, but just try something every single time. I don't. He's just real good at capturing Americana.
Cool. Sounds awesome. I have started reading The Golden Kamuy, and this is a manga that's been getting like pretty popular in kind of certain circles. I've seen kind of a lot of
the JoJo artists.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
artists.
it's the next thing that the JoJo and Yakuza girls are into.
Yeah.
And so I got curious because I found like a hard copy of it, and I was like, oh, cool. And so I picked it up and read it, and I sat down for one evening and just like inhaled the first 6 chapters. This is fucking great. This is really, really good. I am very excited for the anime adaptation. It takes place in like, I think it's like the start of the 20th century, like 1906, I think. And it's like pre-World War I Japan. And it's this soldier they call him like the Immortal Sugimoto. And he's just this guy who can get the shit kicked out of him, and somehow he survives. I don't think it's supernatural. I think he's just really tough. And it's about him teaming up with this little, I think, Anui, I think is how it's pronounced.
Inui?
Yeah, there's like a native Japanese people that are like...
From the northern part of the island.
Yeah, and they're like the most kind of indigenous Japanese people there are. And
they're like hunter-gatherers.
Yeah. And he makes friends with a little girl, one of them, and she's a hunter. And the whole story is that there's this group of prisoners that broke out of jail, and each one of them has a tattoo on their body. And if you put all the tattoos together, it makes like a treasure map. But what the prisoners didn't realize is the way that they're tattooed is that you have to skin them and put the maps together.
That's impossible. And
it's completely
it's
possible.
manga. You can do whatever you want in manga.
No, it's like it's the same way you skin an animal. Like the carvings.
Yeah, but how did the tattoo get on the inside?
Inside.
No, and we're not.
Yeah, Niamh, that's impossible.
Niamh, I think your imagination.
I think you've.
What is happening here?
I think you're just having a wild time in your brain.
No, it's like they don't.
They're
There's no
on the
tattoo
inside of their body.
Where did you get that?
Okay.
Where did that come from,
I don't know,
Niamh?
my mind went there, and I was like, "That's sick."
Niamh, put down the drugs.
Dear listener, did you experience what Niamh experienced?
Yeah, could someone please write in and just explain to us what just happened?
Did John just misexplain himself by explaining an internal organ tattoo or something?
Yeah. Well, no, it is my fault because I didn't expressly explain that they're not tattooed on the inside of their skin. That is my
tattoo, and it's not on the inside of it's on the outside of your skin, because that's what's available externally.
But how could they not make sense of it if it's on the outside?
Because one has like half a tattoo and it's like from here
it's like a jigsaw
to here.
piece.
Yeah, but just draw it out, idiot.
Well, that's what they
You
do.
don't have to skin them.
That's what they do. Give me a fucking second. What is wrong with you this evening?
Why are they skinning people?
because the person who gave them tattoos is a bad dude.
Okay.
It's a very gory manga.
It's
They have
really
to get the
gory.
gore somehow.
There's all this, but like it's weird because like the gore is like it's all based on like old hunting techniques. Like there's so many scenes where like the little girl is like, "This is how you skin a rabbit. See, you just cut it here, and then its skin comes off like a t-shirt." And you're like, "Oh my god." The little girl, I can't remember her name. She's amazing.
The drawings of her are so cute.
And like just the face, like. They give her like the weirdest, most like grumpy facial expressions, and they're so funny and they're so cute. And it's cool because like with her and Sugimoto, they're like partners, like they're complete equals. And there's never a moment where he's like, "You're pretty young and you're a girl," and then she like proves herself. They're just from minute one, they're like, "Okay, we're gonna find these prisoners and get that gold," and they're like, "Cool," and that's it. They're cool from that point on.
And they have a father-daughter relationship.
So far, they're kind of just more. I would say they're more partners.
Okay.
But I'm only like 10 chapters in, so maybe it does get more father-daughtery. Like you can tell they're slowly coming to give a shit about each other and watching their. And it's funny because like she'll try and do really nice things for him, like they kill a bear, and she's like, "Awesome, I'm gonna give you the brain because the brain's like the delicacy," and he's like, because he's just a regular Japanese dude, and then she's like, "Eat it." It's like the expression on her face is so fucking like she's like, I'm trying to do a nice thing for you, and he does, and he's like, It's like it's really funny, but then like it's such a cute manga, but then like the action is really good as well. When people like tussle, it's like it's very clear what's happening and who's trying what, and it feels great. It's really good to read. Artwork's beautiful. Character writing's beautiful. I still haven't a grasp for like the world of it because I'm just not far enough into it. But like I can't wait to get back to it more. It's been this is the best new series I've read in years, like hands down. I really hope the anime is good because if this is a good adaptation of this manga, this is the next fucking super hit in anime, and so I am very hopeful.
Niamh, what else is cool?
Annihilation.
Is it cool?
Is it cool?
I don't know. I had to sleep on it.
Okay.
But it's cool.
It stars Natalie Portman and a bunch of other cool ladies, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So this like film has a really weird release. It's out in the cinema in the US and then in Europe and the UK and everywhere. It's a Netflix release.
That's so strange. Like I'd nearly be able to understand more if it was the opposite. But yeah.
I honestly think it's to do with awards because like they're probably not going for Oscars unless it's VFX heavy, but like the sci-fi Saturn Awards. I know with awards they have this thing where you have to have your movie in like 10 cinemas running for a certain amount of time. So maybe they did that with the American box office. And
from what I've heard, or what I think is happening, is they didn't think this film would do well at all, so they sold it to Netflix because they were like, that's how we're going to get money out of this, because we're not going to get butts in seats seeing this. So it's got a very limited release in America. Like, not a lot of theaters got it. Which is just like, it's really weird because it's kind of like, it's blockbustery level sci-fi just on Netflix. Like, it's a really good 2-hour movie.
It's made by the guy who made Ex Machina, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like I've heard kind of a few things about this movie, but like the main things people are like, whoa, you got to see this. Is it like that level? Like, is it that good? Like, it is like this is like stuff I like. Like, it's like it's about self, the sense of self or whatever. So it really appeals to me. So I think it's great. But like, I don't know. I'm really surprised at the buzz about it, but a lot of people are like, what does it mean, man? I think it means exactly what it is, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think there's big a mystery to it. Yeah.
But it's about...
I always get that with Inception. I don't know how people think Inception's a mind-blowing movie.
Yeah, it's
a dream and a dream and a dream.
Yeah, it's a heist film.
Yeah.
But like with Annihilation, it's this film where there's this entity there's a meteor that arrives on Earth and it creates this shimmer. And there's been groups of military going in and not returning. They've sent in everyone, and it just, well, not everyone, a whole pile of groups of people, and anyone who went in has never come out. So they finally decide to send in a kind of group of scientists, and it's an all-female group, and they go in and they figure out what the shimmer is. And it's that mystery of them uncovering stuff with science, which is a really interesting kind of sci-fi thing. Like, they're not like their guns drawn. They haven't, Natalie Portman is their military expert, but they're going in taking samples and trying to understand what it is. But they have also gone in with the understanding that it is a suicide mission. So everyone has a reason to not wanting to come back, basically. So you're finding out about the characters' reasons for being there while you're finding out the truth about the shimmer. And I think both those things end in a very satisfying way. You're not left being like, huh? Like, it explains what the shimmer is. It explains what their deal is.
That's good. Sometimes it's really, really hard to end these kind of films.
Yeah.
And usually the ending is the worst part of them because you don't get wowed or you don't get a satisfying ending.
I hate any science fiction movie that ends with, we need to destroy the core.
And it's such a thing, like, there's so many wows in this. There's stuff in this that I haven't seen in other sci-fi before. There's imagery in this that I was both, this is gross and beautiful. Like, I want to draw this, but looking at this kind of makes me feel ill. Like, and there's characters who react in that way that are some like, this is, wow, what is this? And others that are like, I can't look at this because this is breaking my mind.
That's so cool. Holy shit.
So you're having like this, people react to maybe the reality of how big the situation is or what it means to be in this situation, and they're all reacting differently. And there's one character who I really wish there was more focus on. Her name is Josie, and she's kind of in there because she's like depressed, and her realization with the shimmer is just really, really fascinating to me. And it's one of those things where it's the most ambiguous thing that happens in the movie. And you're like, I love that it's ambiguous, but I'm like, I just really want to see what happened, you know? It's one of those tantalizing bits where you're like, I'm going to think about that a lot, but goddamn, I'd love some clarity. But I think it's like, it's one of those films where after I watched it, I was like, did I like that? I don't know. I need to think about it. And I've been thinking about it nonstop for 3 days.
I love that. I like it when that happens a lot.
That's cool.
I've come to the conclusion I like it a lot.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
Have you guys seen that shit with like the like footage of UFOs that have come out recently?
No.
Just this like in the last week, there's just this like official Pentagon footage of unidentified flying objects.
Sweet.
And
you need to loot drop this.
yeah, sure, I'll link it. And it's crazy because like it's these two Marines trying to track it, and eventually they get like a track on it and they're following with their camera and they're just like, what? They're like losing their minds. They're like, what the fuck? And they're like laughing and like, what the hell? And it's really interesting because like from the article I read, it's this just super confirmed thing that no one in the Pentagon wants to take responsibility for. No one wants to investigate it because no one wants to be the UFO guy in the Pentagon.
No, it's embarrassing.
And like it's not something that can't lead you down any kind of political roads. It doesn't gain you any allies or enemies. It's just this zero-sum move, and so no one gives a shit, even though we don't know. And it's probably like some super classified weapons thing. Like, that's probably what it is. Some division of the Pentagon was testing something that some other division of the Pentagon found out about. But it's just the fact that, like, the official Pentagon thing is like, yeah, we don't know what this is. We don't know what's happening. It's just like...
We're not going to find out.
Nope.
It's a waste of resources.
Yep.
Because by the time we find out, it'll just be like, oh, yeah, it was a weather balloon.
Yeah.
It was a drone.
Niamh, that sounds really good. I might try.
I'd like you guys to see it, and then we can do spoilers, because it's something that I'd love to talk about.
I'm super intrigued. I was curious, but now
I might watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, I might too.
Let's say we move into our strategy talk. So Bryan,
yeah.
Gameplay-wise, I know there's been a certain game you have been chomping at the bit to talk about, and so I think we should probably jump straight to that.
Yeah.
I played Into the Breach.
I've never heard of this game.
It is a turn-based strategy game, very advanced wars from the makers of FTL. FTL was a game Faster Than Light, which was this weird combination of a kind of run-based space adventure sim with like choose your own adventure elements. And what this is like, it's not really a sequel to that. Like, they're quite different games, because this is like you have 3 mechs at on this 8x8 grid, and it's like isometric kind of pixel graphics. Looks kind of like a Super Nintendo game. And it's the idea is that you are coming from the future to stop humanity being wiped out by these bugs called the Vec. And it's really interesting because, like, the way it works is the Vec make their move, and they'll either, you know, go up to one of your mechs or go up to one of your buildings, and they'll be like, they're gonna destroy this next turn. And so then you have to like position your guys to make sure that doesn't happen. And you can do it by blocking the Vecs. You can do like with your own mech so that like the buildings don't take damage, only you do. You can do it by like punching them across the map, by pulling them, by doing all these weird positional things. And it actually starts to feel like this really weird procedural puzzle game, because what you're trying to do is like knock the Vec into each other, have them aim at each other, because either your mechs take damage and after like, you know, a couple of hits they're dead and that's it, they're gone for the rest of the run, or your buildings take damage. And when your buildings take damage, you lose power, and your power carries across every level. And so if you and once your power runs out, it's game over. And so it's this really interesting kind of resource management thing where you're constantly like upgrading your mechs and like, you know, trying to find the best configuration and like trying to preempt what the Vec are going to do. And you do that across 4 islands and then like a final 5th island. And a run of the game takes about, I'd say, half an hour to an hour to beat it. And it is addictive as hell. Like, I think I played like 20 hours of it in the first week I got it, just because I could not stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you playing on Steam?
Yeah. This is one of those games, it should really be out on Switch.
Yeah.
And it's really cool and it's really satisfying, and like it feels really good sometimes because you're like, it's one of those games where you just stare at your position and you go through every little option you could do, and then like after like 10 minutes you're like, wait a minute, if I do this I can get through this whole turn without taking a single hit, and stuff like that feels amazing. All that said, I kind of hate this game.
What? Why?
Because it's so addictive.
It's hollow victories.
I've gotten to the end so many times and I always die on the last mission. And it's like I'm at this point where I'm just good enough to consistently get to the last level, and I die in it every time. And it's so frustrating because now I'm just like, well, just wasted a fucking hour. Even though I do like playing it, I think it's scratching that weird run-based thing I have where...
Yeah, it's like Binding of Isaac.
It's like Binding of Isaac.
Where like you're doing good, you got a good build, and then you get stomped.
I'm at the point with Binding of Isaac where I will beat it consistently. I will beat like Isaac in Heaven, or I will beat Mega Satan consistently, and I'm so unhappy when I do. I'm like, why do I still play this game? Why am I doing this to myself? Niamh, why?
Never better time to play games.
That's true. That's true.
Games are dumb.
Yeah, pretty dumb. I think this is a really good game. It just infuriates me because sometimes you can find yourself in positions where like something happens and you're just kind of fucked. And I've seen people say that this doesn't happen to them, so maybe I'm just bad at the game. But like I've had situations where like I'll fight a boss in the game and I'll position 2 of my mechs one way, and then the boss will come in, he'll like paralyze both of them, and then he'll also aim at 2 buildings. And so either I lose both my mechs, in which case the game might as well be over, or he'll just give me a game over by destroying like buildings and taking power off my energy grid. It's cool, really well made, but goddamn, it is so infuriating.
So there is a luck element to the whole thing.
I guess if I knew that boss's abilities well enough, I could have preempted that, and so I'll know that next time I fight him. But it was galling. It really was. And stuff like that's happened before. Like I do feel like sometimes I get to maps and I'm like, there's no way I can make it out of this. And like if you're 30 or 40 minutes into a run, that's very frustrating. I think it is a great game. I just kind of hate it.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Does it look nice while you're doing it?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Has it got good sound? Does it sound repetitive? Does it
Great
look repetitive?
music. The look of it's okay. It looks like a Super Nintendo game.
That's got a charm.
It does. It could maybe do with a little more charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not an exceptional looking game.
It's not like Hyper Light Drifter where like it's using every single pixel to its like maximum potential.
That's like what I love about Hyper Light Drifter. Hyper Light Drifter isn't like a retro game. No. It's just a game made out of pixels.
Yeah.
And that's what's fucking cool about it. People, if you liked Advance Wars, if you liked FTL, definitely check this game out. Niamh, tell us about Bloodborne.
Yeah, so PSN, I promised Bryan I would play it, and it's out. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. It's super goth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started and you see the default kind of man dude they give you, I was just like, oh god, this is bad looking.
Yeah.
That's a dodgy looking main character. I met a old kind of crone lady. Her name's Enya, because that's what I'm going to call every character in this universe.
That's fine.
And I am making my way through. I got lost a lot and I've moved in circles, but I'm liking it. I picked the axe thing and I really like that it extends out.
Oh yeah?
Oh, I started with that.
You like the axe, okay.
Yeah. I like having that extra length for when a mob comes. I do find that I'm getting the combat, but it's kind of like if I die at a run, then I'm like I kind of have a pissy baby syndrome where I'm like, oh whatever, and like I become less careful.
That happens to me in any Souls game.
Yeah, for sure.
And I find myself doing that a lot in this because it doesn't feel as hard as Dark Souls, where I'm like I can't be too much of a pissy baby. But with this one, I'm like I can like go through you guys pretty easy. And then I get sloppy, and then there's like 5 of them, and then I'm like, okay, I've lost my orbs, kind of thing.
Blood echoes.
Sure.
Please, Niamh.
The blood echoes. Have you fought any of the bosses yet?
I've got to the first one, but he.
Which first one?
The dire something.
Cleric Beast?
Cleric Beast. That's the guy. Him.
Okay.
He's pretty good, but you know who's pretty fucking great? Father Gascoigne.
Yeah. The first boss of the area.
So I'm not even like I'm nowhere. I keep running around and farming orbs. I should.
That's
Oh
okay.
yeah.
That's
That's you can absolutely do that.
The game doesn't tell me what to do at all. I don't know what I'm doing.
I honestly think the first area of that game is the developers just laughing at you.
But I kind of like it as well. Like I went up to a house and there was a whole pile of ladies cackling at me.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
And I was like, this is alarmingly mean.
There was madness in that town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Bloodborne a whole lot. And you were saying like you have no idea what's happening or what's going on. Mm-hmm. Totally where you're at. I do feel like by the end of that game, it is difficult to grasp the specifics of the plot in the same way it is any Dark Souls game.
Yeah, you've got to watch YouTube videos.
But I think Bloodborne is also a lot more successful in being like, this is what happened to this world. And because like if you want to,
there's enough key information for you to piece it together.
Like I only figured out what was happening in Dark Souls when I watched YouTube videos on it. By the end of Bloodborne, I got what they were going for.
Yeah, I kind of get that. Like people are telling me that something has happened, and like that is already happening at the start of this, which I didn't get at all.
Yeah, there's a lot more exposition.
There is a turn in Bloodborne at one point, and it is a fun one. You know, when things become apparent, we'll say.
Yeah, or just that bit in the forest where you see something peek behind the curtain, and you're like, "Why was that there?" Okay, Niamh, I'm going to lend you my strategy guide.
Is it better if I try? Because like at the start I was like, yeah, I need that, but then I kind of figured out the first area.
I honestly played a lot of Bloodborne with a guide.
Okay, cool.
And I enjoyed it. I think playing certain video games with guides is totally acceptable.
Yeah, like I don't mind it or not. I'm just like kind of like, is it kind of fun to uncover these things? Like, will I be spoiling myself for these mini moments? Like, how in depth is the guide?
You can spoil yourself as much as you want, or as least as you want. As long as you have that control.
I don't know. I don't think Bloodborne is an especially. There's parts of it I wouldn't want you to know about until they come naturally in the game. But I don't think there's very many. like the challenge. It's so mechanics based. The challenge. It's so like, okay, this enemy's here, this enemy's here, this enemy's here, and figuring that out is the difficult part. And I don't think a guide can really tell you that because so much of it's going to be muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair.
I just think the guide is just useful for the map stuff, or just like maybe go here and get this item because it'll make the game easier, or don't sell this item.
Yeah, okay, I do not know anything like that.
Yeah, because there is like weird specific JRPG stuff. Like it really does feel like a JRPG.
I picked my class at the start. You kind of get a definition.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of those did. Like I picked like Lone Survivor.
This is how important that is. I don't remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm level 210 in my new game +5 of Bloodborne. I beat Bloodborne again this week.
How long does it take you to do a run?
Well, like 6 hours.
Is there any boss that like is still troublesome, or do you just mow through them now?
No, there's some troublesome bosses. There's some bosses where like I need to summon someone. And
who's a tough one still?
What happened was the game scales real weird when you do the new game pluses. So for a while I could still like kill most like big enemies with 2 hits because of my maxed out weapons. But now they've caught up with me again, so it feels like I'm playing my first run again.
Really?
Because it takes a lot of hits to take enemies down now. And it takes 300,000 blood echoes to go up a level.
Jesus. Who's your favorite Bloodborne boss, Bryan?
Vicar Amelia is very good because she looks like a Shadow of Colossus creature gone wrong.
Oh, she's the bandages.
Yeah, she's
She's so cool.
The big like long-haired elk.
Yeah,
thing.
I fucking love her.
I love her. I love Murgo's wet nurse.
My fucking boy, Murgo's wet nurse.
Just a really weird-looking babysitter. I love Orphan of Kos. I love
Orphan of Kos, amazing.
And I absolutely adore Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower.
You know, I
very important.
Personally, I'm a bit of a fan of Rom, the vacuous spider.
Yeah, he's alright.
She is alright, Bryan.
There he is. Whoops! Shame on me.
You're gonna meet. There's such a great bunch of guys.
I'm excited. I'm having a lot of fun. Like
I'm so happy
role
to hear
playing
that.
my little character through this world. Because every time I'm like, "What the shit?" I imagine she's like, "What the shit?" as well. So it's we're going through it together.
Honestly, it really doesn't matter what they look like because as soon as you put on the outfit, it covers up their face and everything.
I have a really nice long pink ponytail at the back of my hat right now.
I role played Garnet from Steven Universe for that entire game. I was just like, I'm gonna play as Garnet.
That's cool.
It was really fun.
Look at you role playing.
I mean, fucking
Niamh, I'd really like to play Bloodborne with you sometime.
Can we do that? Can I invite you into my game?
Well, no, just like I want to watch you play it.
Okay, I'm probably the most frustrating person to watch play Bloodborne, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
You're still at the stage of Bloodborne where it's all like it's pretty much werewolves and shit.
Yeah. And crazy men.
Men who are so mean.
Yeah, they're just like yelling at me a lot.
I think Bloodborne's cool because, like, you know, in Dark Souls, it's like, now you're in the skeleton village. Now you're in the slime village. Now you're in the snake castle. In Bloodborne, there's a much more, I guess, steady progression of the enemies. Like, there's always certain kinds of enemies, but, like, it feels much more like the enemy horde, the enemies you face are going through a kind of sort of gradual transformation, and it's fucking cool, especially the kinds of enemies you see at the end of that game.
I really like the AI of some of the enemies as well, because some enemies are aggro to each other, but I think that's like programmed in on purpose, so you kind of know that certain like factions don't get along with each other either, even though they're both after you.
Yeah.
If you stray away, then they'll just go for each other, which I really like.
It's cool as well because in Dark Souls is so the feeling of some major shit went down years and years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But this
Bloodborne, it's like the major shit is going down right now.
Yeah, you've woken up from the hangover and people are still drunk.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe a lot. Like, everyone seems to be a bit terrified. Yeah. But then there's also people who've resigned themselves to it as well. Yeah, where, like, it is, like, Dark Souls, it's like, it's a forgotten memory. Who knows how we got here?
Yeah.
I do like that Bloodborne all takes place over one night. It starts in the afternoon and it goes all the way to dawn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's really it's just I like that it's a kind of a one crazy night.
Yeah. It's also super worth pursuing the true ending. I know you're a bit far away from there, But
There's
like,
different endings?
yeah.
It's 3 endings.
Okay.
But like the last one really is, it's cool and it's worth seeing.
Yeah.
And
Oh fuck yeah! That
the
thing.
shit you have to do to get there, it's not that bad, and it's also the optional stuff like Canehurst Castle, like one of the best environments in the entire game.
Yeah.
So, Niamh, I look forward to your continued adventures with Bloodborne. This is making me want to jump back in, honestly. So I have been playing a shit ton of more Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z, the FighterZ, the Z.
It's FighterZ, John. All one word.
No.
Goku
absolutely
and the punching
not.
Vegetas.
Goku and the punching Vegetas. That game continues to enthrall me. I think that is a fucking fantastic fighting game. I feel like I've never had a fighting game before where I grasp different techniques, and as I do, it's like it's such a steady progression of, oh, now I know how to use like Vegeta's assist in a way that will like, you know, protect me from this kind of attack. And every time I do, my rank goes up, and I'm an android now, which is pretty good. My win ratio is at a stark 50%, which I'm pretty proud of. And I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than that I love it, and I fucking love Android 21. Have you got her in yet, Bryan?
No, I haven't finished the story mode.
She's so cool. She's so cool. Her voice actor is so good. She's just perfect.
So she is an android, but she's also a boo.
She's an android who is tapped into the power of the Majin.
Okay, so she can be like pink.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's really cool. And I'm super happy this game's a thing. I think the lobby system is still a mess. There was an update to it today where... have you played many of the online matches?
I tried to do an online match with my buddy Oshin from work, and me and Oshin like could see each other in the lobby, and one of us would make a ring and we'd join the ring to fight the other person, but it was full.
Oh, it's such bullshit.
But then I could fight strangers.
Yeah, I only fight strangers in it so far.
Yeah, it seems like Arc System works are terrible.
Yeah, their lobbies suck. Like, I get the charm of having your little avatar. I think they're terrible. Just let me go to a menu and hit a button and fight people.
Yeah, and just let that just keep it rolling after a fight.
Yeah. I really want to try and learn some more of the characters because I only really know Vegeta for his assist, his big long blast thing. And so Yamcha and Tien are the actual fighters on my team. But I think I want to try and learn like Frieza and 18 and 21. That'd be fun. Anyway, that's my Dragon Ball FighterZ the Z update. Niamh, tell us about Life is Strange. Farewell.
This is the kind of small mini extra episode they give out as part of the special edition.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is the aspect that kind of sucks about this. You have to buy the deluxe edition, even the digital edition, and it's like I think €4 more expensive or something.
Yeah.
But you got this as part of it, and this is the one that has the old voice actors, Ashley Birch, like back as Chloe and Max, and this is set right before Max has to leave.
Who do you play as?
Max. Back in the seat.
Is she as fucking lame as she was in the first one?
She's like 12.
So yes.
Full on, she's a child. Yeah, and it's like it's set when they're really young, just before Chloe's dad dies.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's like a 45-minute kind of goodbye to the series that is so sad. Like, it's Max is trying to struggle to tell Chloe that she's going to be leaving. Because they're best friends, they're hanging out, and she's like, I need to tell her. And you're like, how have you not told her, you idiot? And I always kind of, playing before the storm, I was kind of like, was frustrated at the idea of Max not talking to Chloe. But I can see now, like, just after playing this, I'm like, oh man, if you're a child and this kind of traumatic stuff happens, how do you... I felt way more sympathetic towards her. But it's her trying to communicate to Chloe that she's leaving on the day her dad dies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like they're like that series is really suffering plus 100. Like, Jesus Christ. There's like every time you play it, you're kind of like it's something nice is going to happen, and it does, but the penalty is terrible for the characters sometimes. So it was very bittersweet. It was really nice to see them as kids.
Sounds good though.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a game that has that much emotional impact in it. So it was really good, and it was a nice goodbye, and I'm gonna miss those characters, but like just sad. Like, it just, if your goodbye is a game where your main character is in the fetal position crying at the end, like, you know, that it's like, oh, okay, bye. It's very bittersweet. But
is there much gameplay to this one?
Minimal. Like, there's no time travel mechanic. There's no mechanic like Chloe's. What you do is you find a pirate map and you're trying to, that you drew when you were kids together, and you're trying to dig up a memory box you guys had. So it's sweet, but bittersweet.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. I'm 2 episodes into Before the Storm.
Oh, yeah.
I have the deluxe edition as well, so I have the 3rd episode lined up, and I have the farewell episode lined up after that. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's got a much better production value, I think.
Totally.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, I really, really miss the time traveling. Like, I don't miss Max, but I did enjoy the time traveling from the original series. But I do love playing as Chloe, and my girlfriend and I played together, so we role play Chloe as just the angriest person.
It's the funnest way to play her.
She's constantly giving people the finger. But I really liked episode 2 because, like, for a while I was playing episode 2 and I was like, what is the point of this episode? Like, a lot of it is like a Shakespeare play.
Because Shakespeare's great and it was lovely.
Okay, I know, but like...
but like for people who like aren't lame.
But I was playing, I was like, this is such a weird thing to happen in a video game. Like, I've never played a video game where you're just like doing a Shakespeare play and you have to try and guess the lines.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah, like it was cool. Like, I don't know. I really, at that point I was like, God, I'd love some time traveling right now. But I really enjoyed the 2nd episode just because we kind of role played Chloe in that episode where she was blossoming this friendship with Rachel and she wasn't sure how she felt about her. And there's a bit where you chat with another gay girl that you played D&D with in the 1st episode, and she straight up asks you, like, are you close with Rachel? Because I also fancy Rachel, and I just want to just ask. And you have all these different options, so we kind of went with Rachel is single, but I don't know how I feel about her.
What?
Because to us, like, we weren't 100% committed. We wanted to, like, develop it.
Gotta play the field a little bit, Niamh.
I know you're a hard switch, like, just gay in big fucking lights.
Chloe's a hard switch, like Rachel Amber Lover. Like,
no,
we were like, I love her.
I didn't want to. I just wanted to try the natural route. Holy shit, the natural route is so nice. It just has this lovely kind of gradient of just them, and so after the play you get the choice of, like, Rachel gets to give you something, and it's like, or it's something you want to share an experience together with. And one is a tattoo, one is her bracelet, and the last one is the kiss.
Yeah.
And so we were like, fuck it, the kiss.
Yeah.
And you get it. And it's just this, like, 2-minute kiss from, like, 12...
2 minutes?
Yeah, 2-minute long French kissing session with 12 different camera angles. And we kept hitting the share button on the PS4, getting the photos. We were just like, yeah, we were spamming it.
They're such a cute couple.
Yeah, no, they're really good together. Oh dear. And I really like that bit. And then I love how when you finish the chapter, it has all the stats of your friends who've played it and then the world results. And 71% of the people picked the kiss.
Of course, yeah.
Who picks the tattoo?
Like 13%.
You wouldn't get a
But, like, I just think that it's cool that Life is Strange has its audience and the audience gets it.
Yeah. And they're very passionate about it still, like.
And they know what to pick and they get results. It's a very satisfying game.
I can't wait to get that bracelet.
There's all that, there's that weird 10%. You're just like, I love Warren, and you're like,
Warren.
Sure.
Because I do think there's a route where you could just play Chloe as this, like, celibate, angry woman.
You know, that's probably fun too.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, who thinks that she's not good enough for anyone, but she is, and she deserves Rachel, not Max.
Not Max. No one deserves Max.
Poor Max.
No one should have Max inflicted upon them.
Max is just learning how to be a person a bit slower than other people.
She's a fucking nothing person. She's an empty shell for you to pour. Like, it's like someone's like, you can be whoever you want to be, and every option is fucking terrible. That's who Max is.
She's shit.
She's pretty shit.
I really, really hope Chloe's in Smash.
Oh my god. Put Chloe in Smash, put Chloe in Soul Calibur, put Chloe in Tekken. She's an iconic character.
Yeah, she's as famous as Knuckles.
In fairness, I would much rather play as Chloe than Noctis.
Yeah.
And Geralt, for that matter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that. And we'll get to it in our Quicktime Events. Pretty fucking sick transfer there, right?
That was good.
Yeah. Niamh, tell us about the Ready Player One posters.
I love these.
Oh, they exist. They're terrible. I put this on the docket just because I was so mad, but they've been out a while now, so I've like stopped seething. But
they were just getting famous movie posters and just like tweaking them.
That's so fucking lame.
Just like Matrix, like Indiana Jones, the Iron Giant, which is the worst one. It's just like, people who have the Iron Giant poster on their wall because it's beautiful, it's sentimental, there's meaning behind it, and they just put this ugly fucking filter on it and terrible font.
These are awful.
It's just like, oh my god.
Oh, the Back to the Future one's so fucking obnoxious.
How's
Nothing has
our
meaning anymore.
Twitter like put out these photos?
Our one?
Yeah.
Hopefully people have seen them, but if not, I'll retweet a selection.
Okay.
Because like, oh god.
So I guess like this is just more of the that poster looks like some shitty college 80s party where it's like, hey, we're gonna have a dorm party over in number 12, so we do Back to the Future. So I've just done a quick Photoshop. It's me at the DeLorean.
Yeah, it's just like casual level Photoshop skills as well. They're not even done well.
I remember for a college party once, I photoshopped our college being blown up by a nuke. And then I was worried that I'd get in trouble. I didn't, and it was a good party, but still.
Because I really like the logo for Ready Player One, where it's done like a maze with the egg in the middle. And it's an actual maze made out of all the letters of the title. I thought that was really clever. Like someone with graphic design skills, and they must have meanings.
That has been done in another film, and I've seen that before because I was like, oh, it's a maze. But I can't remember what it is. But that is definitely not original to Ready Player One.
I'm sure nothing in Ready Player One is original.
Yeah, that's its whole thing.
Also, this film is out at the end of the month, so either at the end of March, start of April, the Let's Fight a Boss cast crew, we're all going to go see Ready Player One. We're going to take some photos of us. Before and after. Niamh doesn't want to see this movie, but I convinced Niamh that if I pay for her ticket, and John, I'm going to pay for your ticket as well because it's my treat.
Sure.
And I'm going to sit in the
It's
middle.
the most sadistic treat ever.
I'm going to sit in the middle between you, and I'm going to watch Niamh more than the movie because I just want to see her squirm.
I'm very upset. This is like, I read this book 10 years ago, and I read this because all my friends are like gamer dudes, but every gamer dude used to be like, have you read Ready Player One? It's amazing. So I read Ready Player One and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever read. It's just terrible. And then I listened to the audiobook of Ready Player One a few years ago and I was like, this is still terrible. This is just awful. I can't believe this exists. And it's someone's terrible bad fan fiction that has been given a Spielberg film.
I just don't know how that happened. Did you see Lindsay... Not Lindsay Ellis.
Jenny Nicholson's.
Yeah,
Jenny
Ready Player
Nicholson.
One for girls.
So good.
She just got the book and she put glitter on it and like some fucking stickers.
And like the thing is, her parody of it is, she's not even like ripping the piss out of it. She is sticking so close to what that is and just changing the angle slightly, and it sounds ridiculous. It's the same fucking book.
I really like how there's one bit. For ages I thought this was real. Like I believed it. But there's a bit where she's reading pages from the book, but she kind of dips the book down a bit so you could see into the book. You could see that she's reading off like the notes app on her phone. And I was like, oh, I thought it was really in the book.
No.
Didn't notice at all.
No. I don't know anything about this film. I can't fucking wait. I'm going in blind.
I just think Tracer and Chun-Li are going to stand beside each other, and that's the world of prospects.
Are
right
Tracer
there.
and Chun-Li in the books? Because they
No,
did...
they've added
Tracer
in,
did not exist.
Yeah, exactly.
They've tweaked the references for the now. Like, they've got their deals in. They've got Tracer. They've got Tomb Raider. They've got Shepard. Nothing is sacred.
Shepard?
Yeah, like Commander Shepard.
That's
is
so
like,
weird.
I know, but like isn't that the same with Who Framed Roger Rabbit and stuff like that, where they just got all these like characters, and you pay for like 2 seconds of screen time, and that's what you get.
But even then, in like Framing Roger Rabbit, like it was a Toontown. The tunes were going like they weren't
it had like context.
Yeah, it had context. This is just like they're just people's avatars.
This is the film. Like this film might as well be called "You Get the Reference."
Yeah, this is as bad as the Emoji Movie. Like this is super cynical, bad.
In a way, it's worse because it's things that in isolation actually matter.
Yeah.
Like Chun-Li, the most beautiful woman in the world, being cheapened by this movie. Did you guys see? I think I retweeted the clip of Ben and Jeff from their after show.
No.
Oh, that was. Really
Oh no, I seen that. Yeah.
It's so good.
That's good.
Jeff says that Smash Brothers is Nintendo's Ready Player One, and Ben takes off his headphones and leaves. It's so good. But yeah, that probably we won't have seen that by the next episode, will we?
No. This will be an April special.
No, but look forward to our live reactions to that.
Our April Fool.
What else we got?
We got the Overwatch ship update.
What? Why is there more Overwatch in our newsfeed?
Fucking here we go. The official Overwatch podcast.
Yep.
Brigitte is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
So not Bridget, Brigitte. And I was saying, I wonder who the fandom will ship her with. It's Diva. That's who they ship her with. It's called Mecha Mechanic or Mechanic. There's your update.
Cool.
That's how
Who else
fandom
do
is.
people ship Diva with?
Lucia.
That. Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's kind of boring. They're just both happy people.
Yeah, but
It was probably like an entry level like launch game.
That kind of feels
Ship.
like no one. Those characters were shipped with no one else. They were like, ah.
that's pretty probably much
They're
it.
just paired off at the end.
Yeah, they're the same age.
Well, I hope
Brigitte and Diva is more interesting than Lucio and Diva.
Yeah, for sure.
they're happy.
Me too.
Cool.
Don't worry, Blizzard will be stealing all that fan-created content for their next lore video.
Oh yeah.
They did a lore video for the new character, and it was just like, ask us questions. And I just see someone like mining it all for information, just being like, this is her relationships.
Let's say we leave the Nintendo Directs to the end because we'll probably be on that for a little bit.
Sure.
Shadow of Tomb Raider reveal. I totally missed this. What was this?
This is the other day.
There was a countdown on the website for reveal. It's going to be out September 14th, and they showed like it was a really short trailer, maybe about 30 seconds long, and you didn't even get to see her face. It was just like intense running shot and like Aztec style runes, but it looks cool.
Yeah, so
Excited to see more.
this is the third and final of the Lara Croft prequel reboot.
Yeah.
Which is cool because like they really were setting up like a trilogy in the last one.
Do we have any information? Like, is there a gimmick for this game or?
She might have a new rope.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
there hasn't been anything that they've been highlighting specifically.
Yeah, might have some new trees.
Is it Geralt or Geralt?
Geralt.
Geralt in Soul Calibur.
Cool. Sure, that's for someone.
Yeah.
He looks cool. I watched the video of this.
That's kind of Geralt's exclusive thing, though. He looks cool.
It makes sense that he's in Soul Calibur because it's a beat 'em up with swords.
Yeah, like I find it pretty hard to get excited about another character in Soul Calibur with a sword. And like I don't.
But they all have swords, don't they?
Well, like some of them have swords, some of them have giant circular saw. Some have like weird lances. Some have scythes.
Are there any characters that don't have weapons, or is the whole idea of Soul Calibur that they have weapons?
Heihachi from Soul Calibur 2 didn't really have weapons. He had gauntlets, but he just punched.
Okay.
But I guess people are probably excited for this. I have no investment in Geralt at all.
Geralt's cool, and people really like Geralt, so I think people are pretty hype on this. And
Geralt's like Batman.
Yeah, he is, but like sexier.
I don't know.
You're both making a face, but it's true.
I think Michael Keaton's pretty hot.
He uses his potions, which could be cool gameplay stuff for buffs. And he's just animated really nice. He animates like how he kind of like looks in The Witcher.
See, that's the thing. I kind of hate how he animates in Witcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was part of the combat.
It's like
I didn't
doughy.
like. Yeah, it's all kind of slushy movement. It's kind of real. Like it looks. It's cool the way he kind of moves his body around people, but yeah, I never took to it. I don't know. I'm not feeling that new Soul Calibur. I don't think anything I've seen of it. I think looks really kind of lame.
I really like that time they had Yoda in it. That was,
Broke the game.
yeah, he couldn't. His hitbox was fucked.
Yeah. Do you think you might get this, Niamh, or so?
No, probably not. Maybe if it was cheap, but I quite like where the roster is going so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So did you guys see the Daigo versus Tokido fight?
No, is this for Street Fighter 5?
Yes. And okay, I want to explain this a little bit because like it takes a little understanding, right? Tokido is currently probably the best overall Street Fighter player. He's this guy who's got like the most like kind of wins at tournaments, all this kind of stuff. He's basically the it guy in Street Fighter now. But the thing is, there's still Daigo. And Daigo is a very particular kind of player because there's two kinds of ways you can play competitively in Street Fighter or any fighting game. And the one is like in tournaments, and that's when you go to like winners and losers brackets, and there's a lot of like figuring your opponents out very quickly because you might only play like one set against them or two sets against them, and if you lose, kind of that's it. But then the other, and like you're gonna fight like, you know, 20 people the same day or 10 people the same day or something like that. But the other way, and so that's like the standard tournament setup, and Daigo does pretty good in that setup. Daigo is of course like the guy behind the Unleash the Beast moment that's really famous and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's probably the most famous Street Fighter player.
And the reason for that is that even though Daigo doesn't actually do that well in tournaments, like he's not someone who I don't think he's ever won Evo. He doesn't take, I could be wrong there, he doesn't take home like a lot of first place trophies. He's always kind of second, third, that kind of thing. But the other way people kind of like fight each other in fighting games is they'll do a 1st to 10, and that's a set, and so like that can take like an hour and a half to get through. And Daigo is like the pretty much unbeatable master in the 1st of 10. A couple of years ago, Zayn won Evo, and a couple of weeks later, he had a 1st to 10 with Daigo, and he got crushed 10 to 1 because Daigo had researched every move Zayn had. He cut him off at everything. Zayn couldn't do anything. People describe, but you know the way people say who would win, Batman or this guy? And people are like, well, Batman would win if he had enough time to prepare. Daigo is Batman, and that's why he's still considered pretty much the apex of fighting games, even though he doesn't win that many tournaments, because in these 1st to 10 matches where he has time to figure you out, no one can stop him. And so what this is the current champion, like the current like awesome modern guy Tokido going up against Daigo. And before the fight, Tokido gave the most anime-ass speech I have ever heard in real life, where he's like, I feel like I'm about to go face a giant. Even with all my skill, I can still only see his back, and I want to prove myself today. And I'm going to spoil this, so if you, like, it's an hour and a half long, and I don't imagine that many people are willing to watch a thing like that. Daigo crushed him, I think, 10 games to 6. And the part that was really special is that in the post-game interview, Tokido and Daigo are both standing there, and Tokido cannot keep it together. He's so upset, like he just can't believe how badly he lost. And he just breaks down and starts crying. And it's really emotional and sad and cool. Like, I think it's cool. I think it's awesome when people pour this much passion into it. And it really, even just go watch the interview and see how much, and like, he's like, I'm going to come back from this. I will beat you one day, Daigo. But he's also like, I can't believe the gap that still lies between us. And it was really cool, really weird, and just, people should go check it out. I'm going to remember to loot drop that later, along with my other 2 loot drops.
Don't worry, I'm writing them all down.
Yep. And so with that, we should move on to the Nintendo Direct.
Yes.
I thought this was a really, really strong Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones.
Yep, totally.
I didn't watch it, so you guys are gonna have to tell me.
Okay.
Niamh, you sitting down?
Yeah.
WarioWare's back, baby.
Yeah, the first like 10 minutes of this direct, because it's a 30-minute direct, the first like 5-10 minutes of it was 3DS games, and they were just like, yeah, we're still gonna be like releasing games in the 3DS well into 2019.
Anything good?
WarioWare's back, baby.
Most of them are ports and remakes. Like, they're porting the first Luigi's Mansion, but I guess it's a remake. They're remaking the first Luigi's Mansion, which is a GameCube game, and I was like, that's cool. But then in the back of mind, I'm like, but what about the GameCube on the Virtual Console on the Switch? What about anything? But I don't know.
Yeah, like I really wish this game was on Switch. But apparently in Japan, the 3DS is selling as much as it ever has.
The 2DS sold super well everywhere. Like like it's
so. I guess
it costs €100 for a 3DS now.
But I'm really excited about WarioWare because they haven't made a WarioWare game in 5 years, and they haven't made like a proper core WarioWare game in 7 years.
Yeah,
and that series is fucking great. If people like Pop Team Epic, WarioWare is just the game version of Pop Team Epic. It is. Have you ever played it?
Yeah, for the DS one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I know. I think the charm of Pop Team Epic is that there's two of them.
There's so many WarioWare guys. You got Ashley the Witch, those little ninja fuckers.
Yeah,
Wario himself.
Kat and Nana are like the Pop Team Epic girls.
Yeah,
you've got Mona. Mona's trying to deliver those pizzas.
Yeah.
You've got Volt 9. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I did not know there was such a rich extended WarioWare
Well, maybe next
universe.
time you'll fucking do your research before you open your goddamn mouth.
You're so dismissive.
Yeah, God.
I didn't say
and
it
it's
was
always
bad.
it's
I
always
just don't
Nintendo stuff.
I really thought that you were an ally.
It's exactly
Wario.
like it's philosophically the same thing.
No, it's not.
It absolutely is.
It's just this weird Japanese nonsense game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pop Team Epic is a very structured.
Is a weird Japanese nonsense anime where it's like the rules change every 5 seconds.
They're voiced by different people every time.
What is wrong with
their
you?
love for each other is the same.
Sure.
Could you always just like hone in and like focus on this weird thing, and you're like, it's always two fucking girls.
Well, you see, the thing is, like with Niamh, at some stage, she's always going to be like a 13-year-old with a PlayStation who's like, Mario's dumb.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Mario is dumb.
He's not hot.
Wario.
Wario's gay.
Yeah, he is.
Wario's 100% gay, and you have to be there for him.
I like Wario. I have no problem with Wario. I hate Mario, but Wario's fine.
Well, then why are you giving him such shit?
I just
You have a Mario toy in your desk and you hate him?
No, I like mascots, but I hate Mario. I like the concept of mascots.
So you like the concept of Mario, but not the character.
Yeah, like
Niamh, talking to you sometimes is the most frustrating fucking thing.
I like the concept of Mickey Mouse, but I hate Mickey Mouse as a character.
Really?
Yeah. Have you not played Kingdom Hearts? He's really annoying.
No, Niamh, I have not.
Okay.
Well, no, that's I played a
beyond the
little
point.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and I don't know what that game was.
Oh, Sora, come on, follow me.
We're all excited for WarioWare.
Not some of us more than others.
Well, John in particular, because like I am very fond of the WarioWare games. I have a lot of them. But you were like, fuck.
I love WarioWare. I love the I love the weird aesthetic of it. It's like, who are these characters? What is their world? What is happening? I just don't think you get games that are as unrestrained as them.
Yeah.
I just think it's sometimes just a bit nonsensey.
Do you know?
Have you seen Pop Team Epic?
Yeah.
No, Pop Team Epic is not nonsense. It's always like it always has a like really.
Go on.
It's 4 panels. It has a punchline where like with Wario, it's like War, like here's a pickle thing or whatever.
That's the punchline. It's like setup punchline.
But there's
Yeah,
no
no.
setup. It just appears.
There
like
is
a pickle
the setup.
there
The
is-
setup is the command you get at the start.
Nope.
The punchline is when you figure out what you have to do.
There is 100%. No, it is like basic game design fused into 3 seconds.
Yeah, but like
There's a
like
purity-
4-panel comic. It doesn't have the same like it's not the same at all.
Okay,
It's exactly the same.
Okay.
The concept is the same.
dear listener, please email in and tell me of how wrong she is.
I just don't see how they even have the same vibe at all.
Just so wishy-washy.
You're so weird.
You're such a problem child.
Yeah, you are. You're just like, this is one of those moments where Niamh is like, I feel like arguing, and it's like, I'm just gonna dig into this. Like I
don't actually care. I'm really excited about Wario. Let's move on.
Okay, I think this should be called episode 71. Should Niamh leave the podcast? Has Niamh gone too far this time?
It's very late.
Yeah.
Niamh, slow down.
It is very late.
Know your limit.
What else happened in Nintendo Land?
The WarioWare game was okay, so
they have Splatoon DLC.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to dive into Splatoon because I thought that stuff looked cool, but it's $80 with the new DLC.
You can get Splatoon 2 for like 30 quid if you're
clever.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm kind of tempted.
I like Splatoon 2. There's loads of people playing it, and I really like that DLC trailer, but there's some weird so you're playing as an Octoling.
Okay, Bryan, what is an Octoling, and have we not been playing as them the whole time?
No, you've been playing as Inklings.
What's the difference between an Octoling and an Inkling?
An Inkling is a squid-based humanoid. An Octoling is an octopus-based humanoid. The squid, and so you know how squids and octopuses look very different. I know they're multi-tentacled fish, but squids have like a triangle-shaped head, and they have very long tentacles that are fat at the end. Like they kind of end with like a little club shape. Then octopuses, they have like suckers that are very pronounced, and they're thick, and then they kind of feather down into like a tail. But that's how their tentacles look.
They're both just random, like, quick things that happen, and then they're done, and then you move on.
One has like way more structure to it. It has a pause for the punchline.
What is she talking about?
Oh my god!
It's like nonsense.
She's just talking about how she ships the two girls because
there's a pacing to the joke.
There's a pacing to the games.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Sorry, Bryan, go
on. It's got a cool trailer where she's walking down the subway and you see Pearl and Marina, but they're dressed up as Biggie Smalls and Tupac.
That was fucking. Did you not see that?
Because Pearl's wearing a crown like Biggie.
Pearl has the Biggie crown, and then
Marina has the
Tupac like do-rag.
Yeah, but like the Crips do-rag because it's blue. You gotta get peace out. Yeah. But it's got this weird walk cycle where you're playing as Agent 8 and she has amnesia and she's an Octoling, but she's not a bad Octoling. And she's walking like catwalky down a subway, or like inside a subway train. But her she's wearing a skirt, but it's like, you know the characters in Free and how they're wearing their swimming trunks, but it's an inch too low. Mm-hmm. So you can see the treasure trail, I guess.
You can see Marina's full on ass cleavage.
Yeah,
in that thing.
You see way beyond her hip bones, and I was like, that's a shit outfit. Pull it up.
That's what the kids wear, though, Bryan.
That's way too much midriff. I think back in my day, you'd have midriff, but
this is what I'm fucking saying. It's like fucking Shape of Water wins the goddamn Oscar, and now fish are just getting sexualized left, right, center.
I know there's a community online that are super into gifs of the Splatoons fucking each other.
What?
Niamh, that has to exist. Yeah. I've never even seen that. That has to exist.
I definitely haven't either. But when I saw this,
the way you said I definitely haven't either, that really implies to me.
Specific.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
No, I'm going through.
I definitely have, but I wish I hadn't.
I'm going through my memory and.
My memory banks do not hold this.
I'm going through my mind palace right now. And it's not Splatoon, but I thought it was.
What was it?
Yeah, open that memory palace drawer.
Let's all just get weird for a minute.
It was the hacker girl from Overwatch. What's her name?
Sombra,
yeah. I mix her up with Splatoon characters.
I could kind of see it.
The
The purple,
Yeah. But it was done in a chibi style, so I confused it for Splatoon. And I know Overwatch gets a lot of porn, but
oh my god, yeah.
This little trailer they had where she's doing her weird suggestive catwalk thing, I was like, oh, someone's masturbating to this.
Oh, someone's masturbating to everything.
Someone's masturbating to this podcast right now.
That's like really strange. Like this was the trailer on the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, and it just went on for ages. It was like a fucking 5-minute thing.
I didn't find it like super like sexual or anything. Like to me, it was just a weird Matrix trailer.
Like I just found it just went on for ages, and I was like, "What's next Nintendo Direct?"
I kind of like it. Like I like Splatoon's world a lot, and I would actually really like if they kind of expanded on that whole stuff because I love the aesthetic of it, and I think the characters and the story is really fun.
Yeah,
and our girl's back.
Oh yeah, she is.
She's fucking wearing a beanie hat.
Who?
Callie and Mari. So Marie's back. Marie,
the good one.
What has happened? Like, what is going on in the world of Splatoon? I heard there was test tube babies. Are they the Octolings?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should look up the fucking ARMS lore sometime.
The ARMS lore.
Oh yeah.
I don't. I think ARMS.
Do you know how people get arms in ARMS?
No.
They wake up one day and they have them.
So gross.
And then they have to fight.
Well, they have to come to terms with their new life, and usually it's through fighting.
That's awful.
It is, yeah.
I guess it's like X-Men. You just sort of have it's.
ARMS is basically X-Men.
Yeah. You'd like our ARMS, Niamh. It's got a nice 4-panel setup as well.
Yeah.
ARMS has like 4 letters. I think it's.
ARMS is very like Pop Team Epic.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
So I've seen some shit in my day. But Crash Bandicoot on a Nintendo console, there is something that does not feel right about that.
Yeah, it's like having Sonic on a Nintendo system or something.
It feels even weirder. And Crash fucking... I mean, could we drop this pretense that Crash was ever, like, good?
Crash is pretty good.
13-year-old Niamh with the fucking PlayStation.
I think Crash Team Racing is a good racer.
Is it? So it's coming out for the Switch?
The trilogy is coming out.
Yeah, the one
that came to PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's something so jarring about that to me. Crashing a Nintendo system, it does.
They won.
I argued with so many little PlayStation teenagers when I was little, and it's like, this is like, no, not like this.
You'd be like, see, I was right all along.
I was, and this proves it. But yeah.
Was the Crash thing the biggest announcement?
No.
The biggest announcement was
No More Heroes.
Yeah.
They did like a gameplay video of the new No More Heroes. It looks okay. It looks kind of cool.
It kind of reminds you of Fury.
Yeah.
Because it's a third person, very far away, and it looks like a.
It nearly
shooter.
looks like a kind of Fury Muso hybrid.
Yeah,
thing.
like it looks like a
shmup. That's not what
shmup.
you wanted at all.
It isn't.
But it's what you're getting.
But the reason, what I love about No More Heroes is like its kind of style and its personality, and all of that was there. Even if the gameplay isn't what I wanted, and I'm hoping if this does well, it will lead to an actual No More Heroes 3.
Yeah, I really like the bit where it shows like a quick pan of all the bosses you're gonna fight, and their character designs are amazing.
Yeah, they're all done by one guy.
I really hate when they do that in a trailer. I like finding out a boss's design.
I kind of agree, and what kind of bothered me as well, there was no girl designs.
Oh yeah,
and
you're right.
like the girl
There's
bosses,
a lot of like skeleton men.
Yeah, and like the girl bosses in No More Heroes are the fucking coolest. Like
they're so cool that they become main characters.
Yeah, like Margaret Moonlight, Alice Twilight, Shinobu, Jean, Bad Girl. Like they're some of my favorite bosses ever, and I really hope we get some cool girl bosses in it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. What else we got? Also had that Kirby game, Bryan. You excited about that?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I got it today.
Nice. New trailer for the Detective Pikachu.
Cool.
I was kind of sold on that a little bit. I liked when he did the quick attack and it was really shit.
Yeah, he's not a fighting Pokemon.
No, he's not. He's not a fighter. Not a fighter at all.
He's a detective.
But probably the biggest news was the Smash reveal trailer.
That was very cool.
Everyone knew that like Smash was coming in one form or another. Like it's not news that there's a new Smash game, but I do really appreciate like I do really appreciate the art of the reveal, and this was such a fucking cool reveal.
Yeah, because they had just finished with the Splatoon DLC, and I was like, cool, can't wait to get that.
Yeah.
And then they show more Splatoon.
And I was like, oh, for fuck, come on.
But it's the original boy and girl from Splatoon, so I'm like, are they porting Splatoon 1 to the Switch? And then I'm like, no, this is something else. I hope it is what I think it is. And it was.
Yeah.
And it was a smash.
I was caught completely off guard. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's a really good trailer.
Yeah.
And so you've got the roster that we're all familiar with, all silhouetted against the burning Smash logo.
Yeah.
And then it says 2018.
They take it so seriously. Like, Mario in fire is so funny. Just standing there like Sephiroth. So like, what are you doing?
He's really strong.
Yeah. There's this Splatoon, or not Splatoon, Smash Brothers fan comic I really like, and it's like this really fucked up Mario giving this really dramatic speech in front of all like the other Smash characters, and it's like, we're gonna go and we're gonna fucking brawl, and like it's so overblown and stupid, but it's kind of great. I thought it was. I saw someone. They did this thing where like they got the screen grab from the latest Mario Kart DLC where it's the Splatoon girl just about to hit Link with a shell, and in the trailer she looks really terrified and jumps straight back to Link, and it's like, he's here for revenge.
Yeah. The Link silhouette is the Breath of the Wild Link, which is cool. So it looks like there's going to be some costume changes. I don't think this is a brand new Smash game.
I can see the argument for both sides.
Yeah.
Because Sakurai is back for this.
He is.
And it would be unusual to bring him back for a port.
That is true. He said some interesting stuff where he was like, please stay tuned for more announcements, even when the game is out. Huh. Like he said something kind of vague where he was just like, I couldn't really tell you about this. I don't know what I can tell you. But he is involved in it.
So people don't know if it's a new one or not?
No, we don't know. But see, Smash 4 for the Wii U and the 3DS, that came out at the end of 2014. So it came out 3.5 years ago, let's say. 3.5 years isn't a big amount of time. Like, okay, so this game will probably come out in late 2018. So that's a 4-year gap.
Yeah.
Is 4 years enough for a new Smash game to come out?
I don't know nearly enough about their production process to say. So I have no idea.
I think so. Like a lot of games can come out in 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they traditionally take much longer. But then I also think about, what kind of game are they trying to make? Like, how much more is there to do with Smash, I think?
Just pretty up those graphics.
Yeah.
It's just because a lot of Switch games are ports. Like Zelda Breath of the Wild is a port.
Yeah,
that's a Wii U game playing on the Switch. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just.
If I was Nintendo from a business standpoint, just re-release that Switch game with the Splatoon characters. That will sell fucking crazy. Then you take your time, and in 3 years you release the new Smash, and that sells crazy too.
Yeah. And they have GameCube controllers already working with the Switch because they did an update and people figured out that you could plug in the USB adapter and then play GameCube and it would read the GameCube controller no problem. It's gonna run real smooth.
Yeah. So that was about everything from the Nintendo Direct, I think. Was there anything else? There was a few of the little bits, but
they showed some Kirby DLC, but that's kind of just for me. That's kind of it.
You excited about it, Bryan?
Oh yeah. Except for Gooey. I don't want Gooey in my game.
No.
I hate Gooey. But I like Rick.
Rick's the hamster.
Yeah. I love Marx, who tried to commit genocide.
Whoa.
What?
Marx is... so Kirby's Fun Pack, the last game in Kirby's Fun Pack is called Milky Way Wishes, in which the sun and the moon are fighting, and day and night has gone all over the place. And on Popstar, which is the planet that Kirby and his friends live on, they have decided that Kirby is going to go out into outer space and ask the wishing star Supernova to break up the fight. But the guy who suggests it is another little dude that looks like Kirby called Marx, and he's like a pink guy with these big giant bug eyes, and a jester hat, and he's dancing around on a little ball. And you play through the game, and then you get to Supernova at the end, and you get to make your wish. But all of a sudden, Marx budges his way in and makes a wish to become the most powerful being in the world.
That motherfucker.
And then the final boss battle is you fighting against Marx, and it is one of the most terrifying things ever.
Oh, I've seen that. It is really scary.
Yeah. Kirby's real weird, where you'll be playing like a cute little game, but sometimes the final boss is an eldritch horror being that's from another dimension. And that's happened 3 times, where you're just fighting like just dark matter.
Kirby's cool.
Yeah, there's some fucked up shit in Kirby, but like he just wants to eat a cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kirby anime is so weird.
Kirby Right Back at You, which has a really, really nice 3D that is not out of place at all.
Yep, totally.
What?
I haven't seen it. I don't know if you're lying.
I'm not lying. It's amazing. And it's got some of the worst puns ever. I think everyone should watch Kirby Right Back at You.
I can't believe they call it Right Back at You.
They
Let's
got-
move on into emails.
Okay. We have 4 emails. This first one is from... I'm going to leave this one actually till a bit later, but let's do this one from Nadim. And it's about aesthetic over narrative. With animation, you get to experience a wide variety of aesthetics. Has there ever been a movie or show, even if it's live action, where the narrative and characters are terrible, but you love the aesthetic so much that it is one of your favorites?
I don't know if it ever would like become one of my favorites, but I can think of a ton of shit I like just for the aesthetic. Like I like the Bakemonogatari stuff, and I'm not very into the characters or anything, but those animes look so consistently amazing, and those movies are so fucking good looking.
Shinbo's a good director.
Shinbo's a very good director.
Like every vampire movie.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
they're kind of trashy, but
Yeah.
like there's just enough set design that it keeps you going.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about, would there be any games like that for you guys? Like even say above gameplay? Like this game looks amazing, so I'm going to play it.
Echo kind of like, I didn't end up playing Echo, but I kind of felt like that would be that game.
80% of that game was that aesthetic. Like fucking incredible looking game. The Simpsons arcade game is that for me.
Yeah, it's super charming, but it's not a very good...
It's pretty. I was
very basic.
I was a token with Michelle the other evening, and like we were kind of playing that, and we were like, "This is shit. Like this isn't. This
It's very
isn't
boring.
Fun. Yeah, and then we were playing Final Fight, and we were like, "Wow, this is." Or we were playing the Turtles game, and that was so much better.
Yeah.
But the Simpsons game is not fun. But what's cool about it is like it's that real early 90s Simpsons look where they're still kind of very loose, and they don't kind of have to conform to a model sheet, and it's that combined with the really surreal elements of early Simpsons, and so it's just this really charming combination of things expressed in pixel art, and it's really cool. Gameplay is like shit, but it's weird and cool to see that side of Simpsons so blown up.
Yeah, like there's certain Game Boy games, I guess. Like there's one called Nubo that I love, where it's only like 45 minutes long, and there's certain things visually I love about it, but it's a bad game.
Yeah.
And it's like a really, really rare game as well that I got in Japan, and I played it and I had a great time. But like I would never fucking play that game again, and I have happy thoughts of funny, weird, like... 'cause there's a bit where you save Santa.
Cool.
I don't know why, but you play as like a weird yellow man.
Okami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of convinced no one has ever beaten Okami.
Well, it's come out on the Switch.
The game is so fucking long.
I think it happens with film more than me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I can kind of forgive that time if the aesthetics just look cool, but where it's a game, I'm kind of like, I'm out. You know, I'm not going to spend that many hours playing something. But with a film, like literally all of Wes Anderson's films, I don't like those characters or stories very much, but I think they look great.
Yeah, I think 90% of like Wes Anderson characters are just assholes that are unrelatable, unlikable. Like sometimes you get like, I really like how that one was very mean to the other one, and you latch onto that character.
Moments happen between the characters. Yeah, totally.
Some Coen Brothers films as well, where I'm like, I'm not connecting with this at all, like, but I really like how it's looking, so I'll just stick with it. Probably film, it happens a good bit.
Yeah.
I really like Inside Llewellyn Davis, aesthetic-wise, but it's not the kind of film I would like.
I really like that film.
No, like it's good. Like I really enjoyed it, but I didn't get anything. I didn't get like a Coen Brothers satisfaction from it. But then I also super appreciate the aesthetic of it because it looks more analog than a lot of their other films.
I know there's totally people out there who will be like, "Oh, Spring Breakers means a bunch of shit." Like it's, I didn't get any of that, but I sure as hell like watching that movie.
I think like I do a lot of mental work for me liking Drive a lot of the time when I think it is pretty much just purely aesthetic, but I've built up this whole thing in my head about the driver and stuff, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
No, I think that's kind of the power of strong aesthetic though.
Yeah,
and it's based on a really, really short story. Like I think the original story for Drive is like very, very simple, and it is a simple film that is decorated very, very well.
Yeah, the fact that I even want to stay in that world and kind of fill it out myself probably says a lot.
Yeah, totally. And like I think it is simple, but I also think the look of Drive is like evoking a lot of older stuff as well. Like there's a sort of heritage there that I think's kind of interesting that does kind of build up that world. Like it's not like they just kind of came up with this plastic thing. I think it calls back to a lot of stuff.
Oh no, like Baby Driver is the plastic version of Drive. Like
oh really?
Yeah, it's just like it's trying to evoke those feelings but doesn't have the power of Drive at all to do it. It's just like here's some neon lighting.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, what else we got?
Okay, thank you, Nadine.
Thanks, Nadine. That was a great question.
This one is from Connie. And to cut to the chase, I've always been known to be the anime weeby friend of the group, which I don't really have an issue with. But one thing that keeps on happening is whenever there's a situation where gifts are given, Christmas, birthdays and such, I keep getting Funko Pops. One Christmas, I got 3 from different family members and friends. How do I tell people that I think they're the worst and ugliest type of figure that belongs in the trash?
You can't. You're fucked.
Without rejecting the gift and seeming like an asshole. I wonder if any of you have anything similar happen to you.
Yeah, that very thing. I came home one Christmas and my generous, kind and lovely parents had bought me a Game of Thrones Funko Pop.
Of who?
It was Ghost the dog.
That's not a bad
It was
one.
not the
Yeah,
worst.
like,
It was not the worst.
the animal ones are way less depressing.
Yeah. Depressing, yeah, totally.
Oh, God. I've never received a Funko Pop. I absolutely hate these. And I'm someone who loves Kid Robot and vinyl toys and Funko Pop.
I think Funko Pop's destroyed all that.
Yeah, no, like Funko Pop killed them and I hate them for it.
Like,
But that's Connie's in right there. Connie should just get really into vinyl toys, like really into the history of them, and start just going off on your friends and be like, did you know that Funko Pops killed the vinyl artist toy industry?
Yeah.
Just make that your whole mission statement. So by the end of it, they were like, she wants a really good vinyl toy, so at least you'll get a nice one.
The problem is, though, that unless her friends are willing to take that journey with her, people are going to be like, oh, vinyl toys. Like Funko Pop. Like think of her parents and her aunts and uncles and
But if she was specifically like, you know, Funko Pop, those very popular figures that I used to love and appreciate the gifts I got of, they're actually maybe bad.
Niamh, I could totally see you bringing this up at like a family Christmas dinner. I'm not sure Connie is the kind of person who can.
I would just be like, I hate this.
like for me, I was always worried this was going to happen, so I kind of like put it out there with my parents so that they would put it out there with the extended family that I already had a lot of Funko Pops and I didn't want any more.
That's so smart.
That's a good route.
That's really good.
Your collection has got too big and you're running out of real estate.
And I think like I think my mom told my aunts and I was like, yeah, it's a bit ridiculous now. He shouldn't be getting those. I honestly just be like, it's turning into an addiction.
Do you guys have any particular Funko Pop that's like the very worst?
I saw one of Ayn Rand, but I don't know if that's real or not.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, holy shit, that was hell.
What, like, someone made that and they're not going to share it with anyone else because that's altruism, isn't it?
The one that made me really annoyed was just George Clooney from, like, Tomorrowland or whatever that film was, because it was just a guy with grey hair in a brown suit, and I was like, this could be anyone. And then they made loads of different George Clooney's in different movies.
Certainly, I feel like the Tommy Pickles one is a dark moment for humanity.
Yeah,
it's hideous.
I really don't like the ones of Mordecai and Rigby from Regular Show, just because they really did the opposite of the model sheets of those designs.
Steven Universe ones are really bad. They didn't give Pearl her nose. Idiots. Which is like the defining characteristic of that character.
It's such an important part of her silhouette, because that's who you identify her.
The Dragon Ball Z ones really annoy me, because the Frieza one actually looks kind of alright. And I'm like, oh, why does this Frieza design look good in any form?
There's a Sanrio character. He's like this cute little frog. Do you know him?
I think so.
He has a pop vinyl, and it's 100% on model to him, because what they did was, you know how they have the black beady eyes, but with this character, I can't remember his name, Carapaco or something like that. It's supposed to sound like Ribbit, and the way they've done his black beady eyes is that they're actually the pupils in his big white eyes, so they didn't change anything to him. And it's a nice sculpt, and I might get that just so I could be like, see, I do have a Funko Pop vinyl.
Why do you want that?
I wouldn't
yeah,
know.
they're just
That's
badly
crazy.
made
No,
as well.
I really like that frog.
Yeah, but Bryan, you could get a nice figure of that frog.
You can't.
I bet you can.
I think
one.
Yeah,
I think-
Mandareke. We'll find you one. You don't
Bryan,
need a Funko
like,
Pop.
I don't want you to know how it feels when you hold one of those things in your hands. It feels awful. Like, the plastic's so bad and they're
Paint
hollow.
job's bad. The seam lines are big. Their heads
How
are too big.
much do they
sometimes
cost?
fall
Like
over.
10, 15 euro?
Bet, yeah.
My girlfriend had one of gender flipped Fiona, and it kept falling over because the head wasn't in the right place on the neck joint, so the balance was always off, and if you just like bumped off the desk, it would just fall.
I was there for her when she bought that, and I was like, Rebecca, don't. And then she bought it, and then I said, okay, I've got a really good website for you, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I gave it to her, and it was tompreston.blog.zone.
The other day, Rebecca was showing me what Tom Preston is up to.
What's he up to?
He's on Twitter, and he's like, hey, I know people are having a tough time out there, but I'm here for you, and if someone who's like a right-wing person is being mean to you, send them my way and I'll fight them. So now he's just fighting loads of alt-right people on Twitter.
I mean, there's
Who's
worse.
Tom Preston?
Tom Preston's one of the most talented artists on DeviantArt.
You look excited but scared.
You must. Okay, Tom Preston is the author of the cartoon. So you want to be a cartoonist? Is that what it was called?
I think so. He's just lame. He's just a really crappy cartoonist. Like, he just does webcomics and stuff.
Oh, I've never seen these.
Oh my god, it's like does super like
fuck. Okay.
mediocre webcomics, and they're like the most. I feel bad talking shit about them, but like they're the most like they're just so mediocre. Like at least back in the day they were, but he also like skyrocketed to the top of DeviantArt.
He's like super famous. You're like, why?
That's nuts. I've never seen him. I used to be into reading gamer like webcomics. Was it games based or was it just
just pop culture?
It was a lot of like
and like social relatable stuff.
Oh.
It was a lot of like his experience at cons and stuff like that, and he could be kind of a dick online, and he wouldn't take criticism very well. You know what? He probably got shit worse than he should have, honestly. But he was just this kind of like. He was this weird internet person to check in on every now and then and be like, what the fuck?
But he's probably the kind of guy that has like 100 pop vinyls still in their boxes on a wall.
Man. Okay.
There's a vinyl toy shop in New York called, well, there's a few of them. There's one called My Plastic Heart. There's another one that is near Video Games New York, just around the corner from there. And they sell lots of old vinyl toys, but they sell like McDonald's toys and hot toys and just all these really, really rare collectibles. But in the basement, they have all the pop vinyls. And the reason they have it is because they need to keep the business running, because retail is tough. And they have to sell these things, and they sell, but they're downstairs in their own floor, completely separate from the rest of the shop.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Like, if you're a serious collector and you go into a shop and when you see, like, a pop vinyl, like, sometimes, like, you just want to leave.
Yeah. So it's real clever how they've done it, because it has, like, a doorway in, and right away there's a stairs down the left. But then you have to walk a bit further into the actual shop.
So it's like, get your crap down here.
Yeah. And you go down there once and you go, okay. And you never go down there again. It's a very, very clever technique on how to handle, you know, figure collecting, and how there's figure collecting and then there's, you know, collecting worthless plastic.
So Connie, just get like an extension and put your Funko Pops in a separate room.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what you do.
No, just tell them you have enough.
Yeah, you love Funko Pop so much that it's become a problem.
You have completed your collection. Thank you everyone for your help.
I think just say, I hate these, don't give them to me anymore. Like, people will remember that. There will be no mistakes. You'll never get one again.
But you'll make people sad, Niamh.
I want a GameStop voucher, just say that.
Yeah, just say, I actually like vouchers. I
too.
usually spend it on food.
What else we got, Bryan?
Okay, this next one is from Ryu. Like, from
Seriously?
From Street Fighter, yeah.
Oh my god.
What if you have too much love and not enough time?
I knew it. I have so many theories about Ryu. Sorry, go on.
Okay, I hope you can understand. Because his name is Ryu, and I like his icon, I'm going to do this in a voice.
Is his icon Ryu from Street Fighter?
That's like a weird sad ghost thing. I hope you can understand this email, because I'm a 17-year-old boy from Austria, and so my structure and grammar may suck. It's fine, so do
No,
ours.
they're perfectly fine.
In the last few years, I got really into media consuming, got into anime, always played video games, and follow an unhealthy amount of YouTubers and podcasts.
Well, drop those fuckers, first of all.
Around 600 plus.
Jesus.
I think. And from time to time, I watch a lot of movies or read manga.
I like how he's getting more dangerous.
Yeah, it is. It's going down this. So my problem is, a long time ago, I discovered that I don't want to only consume things. Last year, I started writing, and after that started a YouTube channel. It wasn't.
That's cool. Fair play. I just want to point out, Bryan's not making fun of you. All that stuff is really good.
Yeah, no. It wasn't really successful because there doesn't seem to be a big audience for bad German analysis videos about niche anime. Look,
that's my first Google search.
It's fine. There is an audience for bad Irish analysis of niche anime.
It's so mean.
You remember when you first started doing a channel, people were like, "What's wrong with your accent?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "I'm not American."
That still happens.
Why do you sound different?
I can't help it.
I also got into drawing, and I really love it when I get around to it. That sounds like okay. I'll read the rest of it. And recently, I tried to get good in fighting games.
Now it's weird.
Thanks to Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Dragon Ball, the Fighters, the Z. I don't know why I have to keep pronouncing it like that.
Don't worry, I'm sure someone in the comments will correct us. Thank you,
no
sir.
No one in the comments has ever corrected us over anything.
Which also took a lot of time, the last one. Okay, so you're real into the stuff. I'd like to know how long it took you to get good at drawing, or how to balance consuming stuff and producing art. I'd also appreciate if you have advice in regards to my hobbies. I mean, if I should just do them at the same time, or getting decent in one of them and then moving on to the next. I really love all of them at the moment, but I feel like I don't really improve because I'm doing just one of them is my main focus. Okay, so this is just mainly about balancing being creative and consuming media as well. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of about becoming an adult.
Yeah, you realize that there's no time, and that the concept of like becoming a sentient wall seems cool. Like, you're like, sweet, things will stop and I'll have time.
Like, yeah, I think time is the most valuable commodity once you... Yeah, like for me, I think it was in my early 20s, and I was like, oh my god.
Time is so much more important than money.
Yeah, I just think you just scale time differently as you get a bit older. But I remember as a teenager just like wasting my fucking time.
But years just lasted so long.
Oh my
It's
god,
just, like,
yeah.
everything's moving so fast. Like, imagine all of that and like anything else you could possibly have on top of that, like a dog. You know, basically, there isn't enough time for everything. It's probably good to pick a few things that you really like, because you'll run out of money for these things as well as time. So it's good to pick like something that you're like, I'm gonna invest in this as a hobby. But then, I mean, I think it's also good to have a wide range, but know that you'll never... It's like being a red mage.
Yeah.
You might master something, but it's good to know a lot about everything.
Yeah, like at the moment I have a commute to work, and so I try to use that time effectively. So I line up a bunch of stuff in advance on YouTube with my watch laters, or I have a comic that I want to read. And that's personal time that I get to have to myself.
There's this book called The Power of Habit, and it's basically turning things like your hobbies into habits. So like if you like have a bit of free time before bed and you kind of like waste it away, you could be like, I could get a comic in this time, and then you do that and you're like, I'm gonna read a comic every Wednesday night or something. By the end of the year you've read 52 comics. You know, it's like you have to get clever with donating time to things you actually want to achieve, because you just won't.
Totally. I think learning to do things and like getting a feel for what's wasting your time. Like there was a point in the last week where I started to feel like Into the Breach is wasting my time. Like it is firing all the correct synapses when I'm playing it, but then when I'm done, I don't feel like I got anything out of it. And so it's a good indication to stop something like that. Like that's when I get terrified when I hear people spending thousands of hours on like MMOs, because it's like, if it's making them happy, awesome, but like
there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah,
like,
there's mountains.
Yeah.
But you know how there's like kind of low attention media that you can consume, like podcasts, or like very, very simply shot comedy shows that are super binge watchable. Like you shouldn't be treating them like you're watching a new episode of Game of Thrones or something. Like they should be on while you're doing chores or doing menial tasks. Like that's like I do think it's good to like have a tier of like different media where, you know, like this is some base level shit that I can put on in the background, and then you've got like the luxury stuff all the way at the top that you know you give 100% of your attention to. Like I know in the past few years when I go to the cinema, I'm like, okay, I'm paying and I'm gonna go see a movie in the cinema, and it better be a good 2-hour experience. I think that's why I end up watching a lot of movies like 6 months after they come out.
Just like it is a time commitment to go to the cinema as well, so you're just like, this better be worth it.
Yeah.
I think it's also a good idea to figure out the difference between enjoying doing something and enjoying the idea of being good at something. Because there's some stuff I just like to do because I like to do it, and so I get good at it just because I naturally go to it. But there's been other stuff in my life where for a long time I've really liked the idea of being good at it and put a lot of hours into it, but not actually really enjoyed the thing itself, you know? Like I played guitar for a long time, but I only really liked the idea of being good at guitar. I didn't like I had no interest in like the actual technique behind it or really getting better. I just thought it would be a cool thing to do. And so like I don't consider it wasted time, but like it never led anywhere, you know what I mean? And so figure out the things you really enjoy, because they invariably will be the things that you're really good at.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things you like the most will probably rise to the top, basically.
Yeah, over time I think if you give yourself the time and the space to figure it out, you will just do that shit naturally.
You are seeking a comfort, and that comfort will seek you.
Yeah, and like when you find the stuff that you're really good at, I feel like it takes on a life of its own, and you can't really control it because you're just going to do it.
And there's never an end to things. Like, say, getting good at art, that's like a lifelong thing. But so is like every even hobby you have, like, you know. So again, with the time thing.
I think, that's really true. And I think, like, with stuff like that, where it's lifelong thing, people try and break it down into goals. People try and say, like, well, I want to be this good at art, or I want this many people to buy my picture, or stuff like that. And, like, you know, as someone who went through that whole thing with YouTube, I can tell you it's never enough. No quantifiable number is ever enough. You always want what's over, like, the next horizon. And so the key there is just enjoy the process and forget about the results. The results are a byproduct. Like, the results, we have far less control over the results than we think we do, but what we can control is the kind of stuff we make and we work on. And that's where the real enjoyment of this stuff is, I think.
Don't measure yourself off others.
No. Or anything.
Yeah.
Just make
fun.
stuff and enjoy it.
You are scaling at your own pace. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is our last email, and it's from Ernesto. It's about culture and holidays. Hi guys, been listening to you for over a year now, and I really liked the recent episode where Bryan and Niamh talked about Irish culture, and the Halloween special where you guys talked about spooky Irish folklore. So that was a while ago. That's cool.
That was our first Halloween episode.
Yeah. I found it very interesting because I'm a child of Mexican immigrants here in the USA, and whenever a holiday like Cinco de Mayo comes around in America, Americans tend to advertise it a lot more than Mexican people do, because like St. Patrick's Day in America, it is basically just an excuse to throw a party and drink. Well, my experience with Cinco de Mayo is that there's a day where we beat the French or something, but since St. Patrick's Day is coming up, my question is, what is your experience as an Irish person living in Ireland with St. Patrick's Day? This was a very nicely timed question because this is our kind of St. Patrick's Day weekend recording. Mm-hmm. Where are you guys in town today?
Yes.
No. I went to Super Valley though, and
town fucking sucked today.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My bus took like an hour and a half because of all the bullshit.
I walked home and it was 8 o'clock and there's people screaming, there's shouting, there's people outside pubs already.
Yeah, we can hear people like outside now screaming and shouting.
Mm-hmm.
St. Patrick's Day is just a big excuse for people to get pissed. No one has any... There is so few people in Ireland who feel anything like proud or emotional about St. Patrick's Day. It's just a day where everyone drinks.
And St. Patrick's Day is to celebrate St. Patrick bringing Catholicism to Ireland, isn't it? Or yeah. And banishing the snakes.
Mm-hmm. Or the sin.
Yeah. You learn about that in primary school, and you're a little kid, and you're like, cool, he fought the snakes. But then, like, and you go to a parade, and they'll have, like, God, fucking St. Patrick's Day parades are the weirdest thing, because it's like this weird mix of, like, everybody from, like, different classes in your city all, like, in a row.
Yeah.
And so you have, like, the hippies who've made their floats, but this is, like, their one thing they do every year, and they're, like, real proud of. And, like, one guy's always St. Patrick, and, like, the beard is real. But then you have, like, the God Squad, who are, like, old people with rosary beads, and they're praying for all of us. They're the same people you see at the abortion. They're the anti-abortion.
Oh, I've seen some.
Yeah.
I've seen some old, ugly men walking around with signs lately.
Yeah, and sometimes what they'll do is they'll have like a Virgin Mary statue, but they'll all be holding like a bit of it, and they'll be like marching it along, just shit like that. But then they'll have like Aer Lingus giving out chocolate.
Yeah, like
it's the weirdest shit.
Our town is really small. We had like just tractors pulling other tractors.
Just all I love that shit.
A new tractor, then a slightly older tractor, then like a more vintage tractor, and then it was just guys in the town who owned motorbikes. And a shit ton of marching bands, and sometimes there's a tractor with a trailer on the back with children dancing on it, but they keep almost falling over because that's how the force, you've got this force of motion, and it's not safe. I
definitely think like a lot of the stuff you guys said on that episode that he was talking about rang really true, where like I think Irish people have a really strange relationship with being Irish. I think there's not a whole lot of Irish people There's not a whole lot of people who like genuinely like grew up in Ireland that are super pumped about it.
No, like maybe Michael D. Higgins.
Maybe Michael D. Higgins.
He's our president. He's
and
lovely.
Then I think you guys touched on like the thing where like a lot of people who are not born in Ireland will be like, I'm Irish. And it's like when an American person says that to me, like I get it, like, you know, they're proud of their heritage or whatever, but it's also this kind of thing where it's like, not really, like not in that sense.
That kind of amplifies by tenfold around St. Patrick's Day as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, I want to get so far away from Ireland right now, but you can't. Mm-hmm. And so many tourists come in and just tear up the place.
Yeah. Like, you could not pay me to go to town tomorrow.
Yeah. Like, everyone who has any sense now is staying inside for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I got Kirby. Mm-hmm. That's why you guys are coming over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just get time off work and it's like batten down the hatches. Like, it's happening.
It's like a natural disaster.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to go to like the supermarket to get bread tomorrow, I'd be like, oh fuck, like there's gonna be like drunks and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, I was gonna go to Insomnia tomorrow.
John,
no,
do
it's
not.
gonna be super weird.
John, you're gonna fuck up so bad. Don't.
I did not. I don't fuck up Insomnia. Insomnia fucks up me.
Insomnia is this little coffee shop that John goes to, and it's just, he's only had bad experiences there.
That's not. There's been so many times where I'll just sit down and I'll just draw some Street Fighter fan art, and it's really nice.
Yeah, but John, it's gonna be like drunk guys with their dicks out. Like, you don't want that.
I don't want that.
I was like, yeah, that's real. I don't know. It's cool we get a day off.
Sure.
And the way St. Patrick's Day has landed this year is that it's on a Saturday, so we get the Monday off. So we get a 3-day weekend. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but I think, excuse me, there's definitely like a really different relationship to like St. Patrick's Day and just the broader idea of being Irish here.
Yeah.
Like, because it's such a point of pride in America, but then it's like, you know, in America, I think they're relating back to a time that kind of no longer exists. I remember I actually met this Irish guy in Australia before, and he had left Ireland in the 1960s and moved to Australia to like make his fortune, and to this day he's the most Irish looking fucker I ever met. He had like a tweed waistcoat and like the Irish farmer's cap and like a check shirt because that's what people looked like in Ireland when he left, and he never let go of that. And that's not what people look like in Ireland now, unless, like, you know, it's real out in the country or something. And he's like this kind of relic of time, and it was really strange. And my dad was like, what is with that fucking guy? Even though him and my dad were the same age, you know? And so, yeah, it's interesting. Being Irish is weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Our country is so small on the globe. Like, it is just a tiny little country.
Completely neutral. We don't got no allegiance to no one.
Yeah. Yeah, like, we're strong, but
there's parts I think
hurts.
that are cool about Ireland. I think it's cool that like we were beside Britain for like so many hundreds of years, and we gave them so much fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like they'd fucking colonized like India and places all over the world, and there was this shitty little island where they just fucking couldn't quite get it, you know? Like, I think that's kind of fun.
We fucking survived a famine and shit.
Yeah.
And we're the byproduct. Like, our ancestors did some dirty shit to get there. Mm-hmm. And we are the scraps.
Yeah, great question. Really,
yeah.
It's really interesting to think about it.
I don't know much about Cinco de Mayo or Mexican holidays. I watched Coco, and that was really, really good. That's about Dia las Muertes. I didn't know that Dia las Muertes wasn't a one-night thing, but it's like it's a 48-hour kind of session where it goes from like the end of October to the start of November.
Was that the thing you mentioned in his email, or was that Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Mayo.
Right. And what's Cinco de Mayo then?
It's about when they beat the French. I don't know anything about Cinco de Mayo. It's not celebrated here.
I hear so many random little wars across the world where France got the shit kicked out of them. Anyway.
Yeah. Do you know that if you Google French military victories, it goes, did you mean French military defeats?
Really?
Yeah. They never won anything.
I mean, like, neither have we.
No, we got you. We got Niamh.
Niamh's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Okay,
it.
let's move on to our loot drop.
This is the last bit of the podcast where we give you things that we thought were cool.
We're all so tired.
It's midnight.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We had to start this super late.
That's grand. Okay. John, you've got 3 loot drops.
That's right.
What?
So first off, we got UFO footage.
No, first of all, we have the Gregory Horror Show.
I mean, it doesn't matter what order.
It does.
It does not.
Gregory Horror Show, UFO footage, and the Daigo.
There you go, everyone. My loot drops communicated through Bryan.
They'll be in the fucking description and on the Twitter. It'll be like 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3. Here's John's butt.
I hope everyone enjoys Gregory Horror Show. Niamh, what do you got?
YouTuber called Big Joel.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's great.
The algorithms have sent him towards all of us lately.
Yeah, this is something that happens. We all get like us and our circle of friends all get like the same YouTuber at the same time.
Did you see this? And we're like, yeah, I just watched it. And it's like, what did you think? And you get into this thing.
Big Joel is very good and deserves more subscribers.
Yeah, he's like some really great videos. The kind of big one that I've seen going around the most is the existentialism of Logan Paul's content.
I think that's his biggest video.
Yeah, that's really good.
But all the other ones he's done are like, he's like one on Bambi, that's great. He's one on like PSA videos about like gayness. It's like he picks interesting topics.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. He's someone like I'd be so genuinely curious to see like where his channel's going and what kind of stuff he's going to get into.
Yeah, I've subscribed and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Bryan, what do you got?
I have a short film that I made. I am plugging my own thing. Are we allowed to do that?
Yes.
So, people who listen to this podcast know that I think Bryan is a nightmarish hell person, but dude knows how to make short movies, and this is probably my favorite movie he's ever made, and I really, really encourage people to check it out. He's a very talented young boy.
Thank you. We are in fact animators. One of us did an animation for once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because most of our work is professional, and we're like, yeah, we worked on that, but we're not going to plug that. But I guess if it's something personal, and it's very hard to do the personal thing these days.
This is just like, it's really sweet. It's about 2 sisters.
Yeah.
Are they sisters?
They're sisters.
Why wouldn't they be sisters, Niamh?
They are a family.
What, because they're not the same species?
I thought maybe they were friends.
No.
Interesting.
They're it's meant to be a family unit.
Okay. So it's about 2 sisters and their Game Boy dad
Yeah.
surviving a rainy day together. And it's really cute.
That's all it's about.
It's called
Rainy Day Melancholy. And I guess it's something that kind of relates back to Ireland just because we have very, very rainy weather.
How long did you spend working on this, Bryan?
On and off about 6 months. And I made another film in between because I got bored of this one and I needed to take a break. But I did like a minute of animation a month, which is pretty good. But I know we get questions about animation a lot and we kind of get hesitant about answering them because it's professional stuff and we don't know if we can say certain things or we have to kind of like say something nice when we can't really say what we want to say. No, it was a great show. I worked on it.
You've given away the key.
Yeah.
We don't mean what we say.
But dear listeners, this is a short film I made, and if it gets a nice response or if you have any questions, maybe I might do a bit on the next episode where I talk about it a bit more. Just about how I went about making it. And I hope to make another film soon, and here's to being creative.
Awesome. So there we go, guys. It's after midnight and we're finished up. How are we feeling? I'm fucking tired. I'm working on shitty videos all day and I want to go to sleep.
I can't wait to see your next video.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it's going to be really good. The thing you were showing, well, yeah, it's going to be good. Niamh, I can't wait to see your video about Pop Team Epic. and it's like, why that third panel matters.
It does!
Oh my god, that would be such a fucking, like, just typical Pop Team Epic. Why the third panel matters. Like, I could see that on... Oh my god.
I think when I first read Pop Team Epic,
I hate
on the toilet.
YouTube so much.
And, like, it's got the best motion graphics and it doesn't say anything you didn't know already.
There's so many fucking videos like that.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. Guys, thank you for joining us.
Let's all go to Sleepy Town.
All right, all aboard the Talkin' Express. Choo choo! Next stop, Dreamland.
There's spiders.
Oh, okay.
Say